You don't know what you're talking about. But Todd said, I don't care. Okay, look at Todd's wife or girl or whatever.
Are those real? Not real.
No, of course not.
No, but I can probably hook you up with the jeweler.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Do you like wine or like?
You like wine or drinks?
Or do you...
And going back into trying to firm up the date. Notice how I'm peppering in logistical questions. This is very key. It's a lot of guys get this wrong. Like I'll teach guys about logistics, and they're like, "Oh my god, this makes a lot of sense." Hey, can I meet real quick? Who are you here with? Oh, okay. What are you guys doing after this? Okay. How do you guys know each other? Okay. And they're like going down a checklist of like the questions they should ask. That's going to come across strange. She's going to be like, "What the fuck, dude?" Instead, you're working into the conversation as you make jokes, as you riff off things going on. And so I'm just going into here now. Do you like wine? Do you like drinks? Yes. Where do you think that's going? Okay, cool. Let's meet for drinks during the week. Shorty said she's not free now. Shorty said she's not free later that night. I'm going back in the date setup. We're 3 minutes in. Notice how most other infields that you've maybe have seen, it's just a lot of fucking nonsense, right? Like I've broken down like James Tusk, where the girl's on her phone and he's like, "Are you a secret space agent from the moon?" Right? And he's like, "I saw you over here wobbling on your peg legs," right? And then guys will go out and say stuff like that. And how do you think that appears to a hot girl? You see the girls' faces. My editors zoom in on them, and they're like, right? They're not like fucking getting wet in the panties. Trust me.
Do you like to drink?
Yeah, wine.
Yeah.
White wine.
We should go out for wine during the week.
Okay. Sounds good.
What's your schedule? Do you know? Are you free tomorrow?
Okay, Zoom just crashed. It should reload in a second, but don't worry, it will reload in a moment here. So give me one moment. It will be reloading, or maybe it won't. But it said it crashed last time.
Yeah.
It closed. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, man, we got you for now. It might restart you.
Okay, but yeah, if it crashes, it'll reload, and I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Okay. So what did I say there? Let me just back up here. Okay, I'm going to logistics and her schedule.
Sounds good.
What's your schedule like?
Find out when she's typically free.
Are you free tomorrow? You're busy all weekend?
Should be busy all week.
Next week then?
Thursday, Friday.
Are you?
And so now we're planning into the following week. And I'm like, "Are you free at night?"
Free at night?
What's your name?
Oh, John.
Sorry.
I didn't tell you. Yeah.
This introductions.
Nice to meet
That's
you.
me. And when are you free during the week?
I don't know. Just write me and I'll...
Right here.
Okay, now in the US,
Right.
right?
The
other terminology.
Yeah.
Text me, but foreigners will typically say "write me." That's how it translates, right? They'll say like "escreva-me" in Spanish or Portuguese, and so I'm laughing about that and making a joke about it because it struck me as odd, right? Most guys would be like, "Oh, that's weird. She said write me, but I know what she means." So I'll be like, "Okay, yeah, I'll write you. I'll message you." To me, it was funny, so I'm making a joke out of it, right? And I'm mostly joking and laughing the whole interaction, right? It's all lighthearted and fun. And I've talked to countless hot girls about this. They don't want to have serious conversations. They don't want to have interrogation conversations. They don't want to have conversations where the guy's trying to be cool, where he's trying to impress them, where he's trying to be funny and trying to do anything, right? They want the guy to just be fucking actually laid back and fun and light and keeping things light. And most guys can't do that. Most guys, that gives me reaction content. But watch the difference between what I'm doing here and what you've seen from a lot of these other coaches, right? There's nothing fancy, gamey, gimmicky going on, but there are subtle tactical elements that you now see that you might not have seen before based on what I've explained.
I'm sorry.
Just write me a letter.
Back to the piercing thread.
Do you have any other piercings besides that one or no?
I used to have another one. Yeah, I have a lot of...
Oh, shit. What's this tattoo right here?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
What's that about?
What?
What is that?
I'm like, why'd you get that
I just
tattoo?
like it. It's
really
an
cool.
arrow.
I'm gonna
This is
get a
kind of
whole
interesting to
like
watch.
I want to
This
do
is
a whole
like
sleeve.
7 years ago, and I'm saying how I want to get a tattoo sleeve, and then I eventually did it.
Because when I DJ, like I want to have like all like
Yeah.
shit
What kind
on
of
display.
music do you...
It's all electronic, like trance, drum and bass, dubstep, electro house,
And where are you going to be?
deep house. My friends told me to try to get into like Lebain or like some of like these
Lebain,
some of the big clubs,
yeah.
like they said Webster Hall or like Pasha.
Probably there's where you're going to make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've lived in London, Las Vegas, Miami, San Diego, Philadelphia, like traveling around. I run like a company and then I DJ on the side.
Oh, cool.
So like I like being in these like big like party cities. You lived in Argentina your whole life?
Yeah.
You speak very, very good English.
Thank you.
Is that common there? It's not common, is it?
It depends
I'm just commenting
on
about
which
her
school do you
English
go.
level.
Like
Again,
which school do you
whatever
go.
the
I
fuck comes to
learned.
mind, right? But I'm peppering in, moving things forward. But this is how you make a girl comfortable, build comfort, etc. I ended up meeting up with this girl like this must have been a Thursday or Friday. I think it was like middle of like the following week, and like she insisted on a public date and then closed after, and then like I was seeing her. I was only in New York for like a month. It was kind of sucked. Every time I fucking leave a city, I like leave a rotation behind. I leave like some awesome girls behind. There was like girls in Ukraine like crying and shit when I left. Happened in Poland too. It's always like very sad.
In school, I used to go like double. I all afternoon I spoke English. So, and then two years
And
ago
look, just
I
as a
lived
super
here
side note,
for
since we're
9
associating
months.
as
So
I react here,
that's where I
the breakdown, I should say, like, don't let this be you here. This is just an old man. But I get clients that are like, hey, I haven't really dated much and I'm, towards the end of life. And I'm like, damn, that fucking sucks because you could have gotten this fixed a long time ago, right? Like, don't think that it's just going to work itself out. It won't. You need to be properly taught and adjust to your errors. And it's a very quick and effective process. And then it's done. And then you can go forth and have an incredibly wild, incredibly successful, I should say, dating and sex life, right? So don't let your life pass you by and be alone. It sucks, right? Like it hurts when a guy comes to me like really late. I can still help him with the remaining time he has. A guy in the 8-week program right now, he was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer, stage 4 liver cancer, and they gave him like 9 months. And he's like, help me bang 30 girls in 9 months. I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. And he's already progressing very rapidly. It's sad though, right? Like he's like, I've always wanted to sleep with, some random chicks and stuff like that. He was married for a lot of his life and that's over. And, he's just now trying to dip his feet into the pool of the, the amazing benefits that can come from dating a whole bunch of beautiful women. It's really awesome. Like there's so many awesome parts to it. You hear all this negative stuff from the red pill guys, but it's just all bullshit. They're talking out of their ass. They don't date hot girls. They don't even know what hot girls are like. So they demonize them because they're snubbed by them, right? So, and they marry girls that are below average. You don't need to be like that. You can enjoy the company of awesome, beautiful women that are full package, and they're going to really add a lot to every dimension of your life.
I become like
9 months.
So
That's
she
like
says
how long a
about
girl's
9
pregnant,
months.
right?
Sorry?
9 months. That's
Like,
how
how
long.
long a girl's pregnant for, and I'm laughing, right? And a lot of these comments might sound like totally stupid. They even sound a little stupid to me, but I'm like smirking a little bit because I make like really, people that know me, I make like, you see me on the roasts and stuff. I make some super funny jokes, but I also have like immature sense of humor, right? So I really like South Park, Family Guy, like, Eric Andre, just stuff that's like off the wall. And like, look, she's laughing, right? Because I'm saying
How long
it's
of a
funny,
pregnancy?
not like,
Yeah.
hey, 9 months, just like when how long a baby's in the mother, right? Like the way that you deliver this shit. Right? I remember reading in the book The Game, like a comic can like go through a whole comedy routine. Like, you could watch some comic on Netflix and then copy his jokes, but the timing and the delivery and all this shit is going to be off, and it might not be funny to people. It's not simply just saying lines. I'm saying things situationally, spontaneously, that are just funny, and I'm laughing at them.
No, I
came here, got pregnant, left.
I was 6 months. I went back and then I came for 3 months.
Oh, cool.
I was doing like courses.
It sounds very
So this is really
pleasurable.
sexual joke.
Coming for 3 months.
Myself. She said that she was studying English for 9 months and then was like coming for 3 months or whatever. I'm like, that sounds pleasurable, coming for 3 months, especially with foreigner girls. A lot of times they don't get it because it's not their native language, so they're not seeing what you did there. So if they ever don't get it, I like break it down a little bit for them in a lighthearted way, and so that they get the joke usually. Like see that
Yeah.
one? Okay, so watch what I
And
did.
then
Maybe I didn't bring it to your attention. You
then I lived
usually
in
I'm
Costa
like
Rica for
coming through, like I like make it more obvious so that they understand. They're like, oh, that happens on dates a lot too. Like I'll make like some crazy joke and they're like, they like don't get it at first, and I'm like, now you get it, and they're like, holy shit, can't believe he said that.
a while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
For what?
Before coming. I was just learning how to surf and
Surf?
yeah,
Surf what?
surf.
Oh, surf.
Yeah.
I thought you said serve, like
No, no.
like a waitress or something.
No, no.
Surf. Okay.
Surf.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be living in
It was like
soon,
a photo-
and
it
they
was
have
like Puerto Rico or something.
kiteboarding,
Yeah.
and it's like 20-mile-per-hour winds, and like everyone's like,
That's
it's really cool. Are you good surfing or no?
And look
no.
at that. The chick said she's learning
I'm
surfing.
like,
"Are you
I've
good
been
surfing?"
there
She's like,
for
"No."
4
And I just burst out laughing in her face. And it's not making fun of her, right? It's just like having a good time talking to a stranger. But again, if people saw us, they'd be like, oh, these people know each other, and they've probably known each other for a long time. It doesn't look like some awkward thing between two strangers. If I came in thinking it was going to fucking bomb, thinking that I suck, thinking that my hairline is fucked or that I'm not a Chad or you know, the 100 million other things that everyone puts in their head, then how do you think it's going to go? If you're feeling awkward about it, if you're like, you know, like, should I do this? Should I say this? Blah, blah, blah. She's going to be like, all right, man. Like, you know, that's why your interactions end, or that's why they go bad, because you're like, so you're doubting yourself so much. I'm just in here having fun.
4 months,
Yeah.
and I didn't know anything about surfing, and I learned how to. I can stand up,
Oh, wow.
but that's it. Like it's not like
Yeah.
That's basically like a
It seems like you're in pretty good shape. I can't really tell what it looks like.
body looks good.
Thank you.
You have like a cool style. Like I used to date a Russian girl. She used to wear like stuff like that with the fur. Like she was from Moscow. But they would have like the like fur hood and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Have you seen that before?
Yeah. it's
But
cool.
in Argentina, it's like really hot, right?
Yeah, not really hot, but it's
like
not that cold.
It's not cold, yeah.
I mean, we have winter and it's cold.
And I usually like don't
here.
have
It doesn't
interactions long.
snow.
Usually
Yeah.
they're like short,
In when
like 3 to 5 minutes, just like in and out, right? But this is just like bullshitting around. And I also haven't, had she been available right then, I would have moved her out of here. Had she been available at night, I probably would have ended it by now. But there isn't like a resolution to like when we're going to meet yet. And I think I go back into that one more time from what I recall. There's only like a minute left, and then we'll be moving on.
Buenos Aires. If you go
Yeah.
south,
Is that where you're from? Buenos
Yeah.
Aires? Yeah.
if you go south, yeah, there's.
And
it's
I have
really
her number
cold
at this point,
in the
right?
south.
But
Yeah.
I always want to
yeah,
try to
no, I'm
like
from
dig
Buenos-
for that like appointment set up in person if you can. Okay, so there it is.
Right.
So, I'm
So you're definitely not going to any
I'm
clubs
asking
later?
about later. I'm trying to see
Yeah.
if there's a way that I can possibly meet her later. Why? Because the lead is hottest at that point. You want to strike when the iron is hot. So I'm like, I'm gonna invite
No,
you.
I'm gonna
like
invite you
this.
anyways.
Okay.
We're going to
235th.
235th, where it's like
People are asking for
up on the
some
roof, whatever.
recommendations. I was recommending Hotel Chantel and Jane Hotel, which I've pulled from a fuck ton, almost like 100% pull rate from both those places. But you know, also 235th is a big outdoor rooftop spot that's really good as well.
oh, there's like a whole bunch of. Have you been there?
No.
It's like a rooftop bar, and they have like you wear robes because it's cold, and like there's palm trees and stuff. So, and then my friend said the Jane Hotel too is good. Have you been there?
Lebain had like a.
Have you been to Lebain?
Yeah,
you don't-
Lebain, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's the team now had a stamp, and we would stamp the whole boot camp like a re-entry stamp. One of his friends like took the stamp, so we were just like walking straight in, avoiding the 2-hour line. I just got the Zoom notification again. Let's see if this stops.
But I'm more.
Well, team, John has left and he'll be right back momentarily. Put on some
I'm here.
elevator music before he gets back, and he's done.
I'm here. I'm here. We're all good. All right, you ready? I'm asking an Argentinian girl if she speaks good Spanish. She's like, yeah, that's my language. Oh, did I forget to share the audio?
Yep, you did.
My bad. Okay. We're at the very end almost. Let me just reshare one more time. Okay, here we go.
So you speak really good Spanish?
Yeah, that's my
Say-
language actually.
¿Cómo se dice you are the sexiest boy I've met in New York?
All right, so she's like, yeah, I speak good Spanish. And como se dice in Spanish means how do you say? So I'm like, como se dice you're the sexiest guy I've met in New York, right? Which is just like making another joke. Again, like patting myself on the back, but just like fucking around, basically.
I was kidding.
No, sexy is just you say sexy.
But it's just an I, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Spanish, sexy is SEXI. So then I'm joking about that as well.
But it doesn't have a translation.
Muy guapo y muy inteligente. Shut up.
And again, see how every time I make a joke, I like do like a little touch. That's what I've been doing like the whole way through the game, and it really like reinforces the effect, I think, of the connection.
You're like, yeah. All right, but what we'll do is, if you can't come out later, let's meet for our wine during the week.
By the way, I was making a joke like, "Oh, you're really handsome, really intelligent," as if she was saying that to me. Okay, last 15 seconds. I'm like, "Here's what we'll do. I'm gonna invite you out later.
Okay.
Do you like Pinot Grigio or what?
Yeah,
Like,
I do.
otherwise, we'll get wine during the week. Do you like Pinot Grigio?" She's like, "Yeah."
Sauvignon Blanc.
I like that accent.
So I
That's
tell
really
her I like her accent. It's sexy.
sexy. All right, let me give you a hug.
Oh
Can
my
I go?
god. Okay, for the record, I almost never do that, but that's super hilarious because someone's like, "Can I give a hug?" Like literally, almost never do that in interactions, and I'm doing it here. So my foot is in my mouth.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Bye,
Yeah,
nice
it's
to meet you.
fucking stupid. I'm kicking myself from the past.
Okay,
You too.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
I'm gonna go soon.
I'm like going to do more approaches. She's like going back to carry on her day. Okay, so thoughts, questions. Let me pop this back open here. So what questions do you guys have about day game? Just fire some stuff off in the chat. Someone said simple enough. In day game, don't you want to screen for the boyfriend quickly? No. Do not do that. Here's the problem with asking girls in night game or day game if they have a boyfriend. It gives them an easy out of the interaction. And remember that there's no compliance yet. Remember, everything is compliance. So a lot of guys think that's like a good way to start the interaction. Hey, what's up? Are you single? There's no compliance there, right? She's like, it basically translates to, hey, you want an easy out of this conversation to this guy you don't know that might be low value like the rest of the guys talk to you. Oh yeah, I'm taken, sorry. Right? Or in foreign countries, a lot of guys will go up, hey, do you speak English? And they're like, so glad you asked that. No, I don't. Right? They'll say it in their language. But don't give them a easy out of the conversation to just reject you. Okay. And they might have even liked you, but like there's no compliance yet. So you're giving them an easy out. So don't ask them if they're taken. When you ask them out on a date, when you ask them for their number, all that shit, they will know that you're interested. And just talking to them in public, they know you're interested, right? Unless you're asking for directions to Starbucks or something stupid, they still know you're interested. In that case, they think you're an interested guy that's being a pussy, right? So that's even worse. Okay. Someone said you closed that girl. Yes, it was like the following week, middle of the week, and then I was banging her like through the month until I left. I had like a Puerto Rican main chick that's also on one of my infields that I showed on YouTube from that New York month. That was fucking super hot. Okay. Someone said you jumped into logistics right off the bat. Very informative. Yes. Getting women in the workplace. I have a video on that. I have a video on adaptations for work and gym. Basically, you just like be a little less direct, coming a little more under the radar, and you can invite them out for like a professional lunch or something first, and then put in light feelers, seeing if she bites when you flirt very lightly. And if she does, you can amp it up and then set a real date outside of work. But you got to be careful not to fucking, fuck up your work situation. Stuff like that. I used to fuck a girl at work. I made work a lot better because she was really hot and like no one knew. And she would literally just like look at me from across the office or like text me like, hey, my place in 10 minutes. And we would just go bang and come back to work. Someone's asked about Hooters game. Are we doing, I love fucking Hooters. There's no Hooters in Brazil. It sucks. I banged so many girls from Hooters in San Diego. I banged 2 girls at the same Hooters back to back on Cinco de Mayo. Josh was with me that day. It was fucking awesome. But yeah, is are we covering hired guns tomorrow, Alan? Is that in the agenda? Okay.
Yeah. So when we for the VIPs tomorrow, we'll be going over some more advanced stuff with stripper game, hired guns, all that sort of stuff is going to be on day 3. We're just going to be sprinkling in all the topics, and we might even be able to give out a guide potentially for everybody that attends on day 3 at the very end of the day. So we'll we don't usually we sell that, but we'll talk about that anyway. So a couple more questions coming out from here, John, in the day game area.
And just real quick, for the VIPs, I dropped my stripper game in the general chat. So check that out. I dropped that last night. Go ahead, Alan.
So quick question. When you get the number and set up the date, do you recommend that you set it up for that week? The short answer will be yes, as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Yeah. Like, it's like, are you free right now? No. What time will you be free today? This time. Okay, let's meet then. If she's not free that day, what time are you free tomorrow? If she's not free that whole day, what time are you free the next day? It has to be as soon as possible, guys, because it's going to go colder over time. Leads generally go fairly cold in about a week, but the sweet spot is the first 24 to 48 hours. Don't do this play it cool shit where you're like, I got a number, I'm going to wait 3 days to text her. There's still guys doing that to date in large quantities, and there's still coaches teaching that have big channels, and it's just plain bad advice that kills the lead.
The short answer should you sexualize during the initial conversation, or should you really save that for the date?
In day game specifically,
yeah, day game.
Just what you saw me do in the infield, guys. So it's like minimal. Like what were the sexual jokes I made there? I said, oh, okay, I can't kiss you because you're sick. Left. I said your accent is sexy. I said, I did light taps each time I made a joke on her side. I made a joke that she thought I was handsome and smart, right? But I was making a joke as if she was saying it in Spanish. That's the extent of it. You're not going to be like all over them. You're not going to be like, holding them from around the waist, pulling them in close. You can do shit like that. We have another infield where there was like a chick out on the street, and I was like talking to her, and I was like, oh, would you be embarrassed if I kissed you in public? And she's like, oh no, I don't want to do that in public. And like, we just met. Like, so, but I don't really like often go for like a makeout in a day game situation, if I'm being honest. Whereas a night game, I do it before almost every pull, like routinely. So, and for the record, like if you're pulling a girl and you haven't made out yet, make out in the cab, right? Don't fucking try to make the kiss like some big move when you're back home.
All right, man. We have no more questions. Let's carry on.
Okay. So far, guys, I've given you the mindset to have for a successful approach. I've given you my exact opener, the hi, can I meet you real quick? I use to approach girls in any situation. You got my exact formula that never have things to say in a conversation, multi-threading plus no filter. You got my exact system to get her interested and attracted to come home with you. Remember, isolation, escalation, seat in the pool, and logistics. Okay, those are kind of like the 4 major pillars. Then you have the exact process to overcome her objections. Remember, you say the pull script in the first half, the second half, drinks are expensive, we'll come right back. Or I live close by, let's go have a drink. It prompts objections. There's 14 major ones. There's really only like 3 that are extremely common. I can't name my friends: the hookup objection, the safety objection. And those are going to be the same objections you're going to get on a date, not the friends one, but hookup and safety. Okay. It's going to be like the same way you would hear in a club. And that's, alluding to, we're not training on dates, but that's how you get very good at closing most of your dates. You get good at handling the safety and hookup objections, because most of the time you'll be having a fun, laughing time. But if you don't know how to answer those objections properly, she's not going to come home with you. Or if you don't know how to frame it properly for her to come home with you, she won't come home with you. Okay. And you have to sexualize properly on the date, which is another set of training. So all this and much, much more in the limited time we had to interact together in the last 2 days. We're far from done. Okay. But using this system that I've taught you so far, do you think you'll be able to approach a girl tonight? Let me know in the chat. Someone's asking about visiting a city for the short term. You have to just like play it stronger and more aggressively. So you have to literally be like, let's give you something to remember, stuff along those lines. You have to like amp it up because you have a limited time frame. Someone said, Can't because I have work at 6 in the morning. Recommend you go out at least for an hour or two. Be home by midnight if that's possible. What time do you have to be up early? 6. I have to be up early. That's no excuse. Go approach. I'm using my own objections against. I have clients that try to use my objection response to me, or they use my like text ignore responses against me. I'm like, dude, I fucking made these. Don't send that shit to me. Let's see. Any advice? Okay. Someone said, fuck yeah, yes. Very confident I can. Did this last night. Okay. Both show. Awesome. Using the system, do you think you'll be able to have a fun conversation with a girl? Let me know in the chat. A lot of guys, it's really, rewarding as a coach to see guys having these epiphanies and breakthroughs, because guys thought that talking to a girl was like this huge complicated thing. I even get guys that like work in sales. They do door-to-door sales. They knock on doors and talk to strangers all day. But then when it comes to talking to a woman, they're like freeze up and they're like, I don't know what to do. And now you do. Okay. Easier than I thought. Yes. Once I began practicing effective conversations, it's so good. Cool. Okay. Next, using this system, do you think you'll be able to ask for a girl's number? Not just tonight, but really for the rest of your life. Do you now have that confidence? Sergio got 5 numbers. That's awesome. Yes. Biggest obstacle is her friends pouring salt. Now you know you can isolate. Also stick the wings on them. Also don't let a ticking time bomb situation manifest, because those girls whispering are eventually going to come tell you that they're lesbians with that girl, or that they have to protect her, that they made a pact that they can't speak to men, or that it's a girl's night. You've heard all this stupid shit before. It's just because you didn't address the friends and win them over, which all it takes is a quick hello, smile, shake their hand, and put them on your wingman. If you're solo, isolate sooner. Let's see. How many numbers do you get that flake or block you the next day? Night game numbers will be a little more flaky than day game. Remember, they're meeting a lot of people, alcohol is involved, etc. So, that's why you get 10 to 15. So that way, if like 5 don't respond, it's not a big deal. You have tons of other options. Using this system, do you think you'll be able to close a girl? Do you now have the belief that you can take a girl home from the club, from a bar, from the daytime? Let me know in the chat. Some of the girls ghost after we had a fun conversation. There's lots of shit outside of your control. Some girls have a boyfriend and they don't tell you. And then, it was a fun validation exercise. And then they're not actually going to meet up with you because they have a boyfriend. Some girls were very drunk and they don't even remember speaking to you. And so the next day they're like, who's this? Or they're afraid to respond because they don't know who you are. There's a whole shitload of outside of your control. You maximize what you can in your control and you let the chips fall where they may. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason why a girl doesn't respond. And that's because there's things outside of your control that you cannot control. So you try to control what you can and the results will come. Even at a 10% close rate, I'm climbing on 1,600 girls. It's been a huge adventure. Okay. And if someone was like in the beginning, hey, you're not a Chad, it's over for you, man, I might have been like, okay, I'm just going to play video games and fucking be depressed. And that would have been a shitty life. And, or if someone said, hey, the close rate's 10% at a high level and, 90% of the girls aren't, oh, that seems like a waste of time. Fuck that. No, you can still have literally like more girls you know what to do with within like 2 to 3 weeks. Once you've dialed in all the components, we've dialed in the cold approach components, but there is a lot more to this. There's texting, online game optimization, date optimization, closing optimization, retention optimization, leveling up quality, having threesomes, even foursomes and fivesums, if you are so inclined. And, just fucking, having a 9-5 full package 9-5, like worshiping, being in love with you. Like there's different levels to this. Even when you're getting laid regularly with 7s, it can get a lot better. I have the fucking, methodologies to do all that stuff and more as quickly as humanly possible. Okay. And if at any point I can make it faster, I will. But you see how this can level up your game. Okay. Even if you use just one thing that we talked about in the last 2 days, do you see how this could level up your game? Okay. Somebody said, yes, this is going to level it up a lot. Can you pull 2 girls at once? Glad you asked that. One of our guest speakers tonight, one of our previous approach breakthrough clients, Vasal, who I mentioned before, and Craig, who you guys met last night. Craig and Vasal are going to speak, as well as a third guy, Tavion, to share their experiences. And Vasal and Craig have both pulled threesomes from cold approach, which is actually fairly difficult. if you're not doing it with the girl you already brought out. I think Vasal did it cold, like on one of his first 4 or 5 times out. He pulled 2 19-year-olds and he started, I don't think he had a threesome, but he started banging them separately. He made out with them both or something like that. We'll let him tell the story. I don't remember the details. But now he has like a main chick that looks like Anna de Armas that he cold approached in a coffee shop. And he said he looked like shit. Like he had like sweatpants on. His hair was messy and like he was tired and all this shit. And he saw this hot girl sitting in the coffee shop and he forced himself to go in, even though everything told him not to, not just fear, but like him looking like shit. The girl blew wide open, meaning was very receptive. And now she's like obsessed with him. And he's like, he dropped like the 2 19-year-olds and all, you know, it's great. He used to, before the training, he was walking past clubs getting extreme anxiety. He couldn't even go inside them. Okay. Do you think I could fucking handle myself in a club in the early days? I wanted to fucking shit my pants. That didn't actually happen. Thank God. But it can be terrifying, especially in the early days. So I can understand, right? Like don't be ashamed of it. Like any guy that got good and started off, you know, hey, what's up? Do you want to, okay. Do you want to say hello? She's about to go to the gym. My Brazilian lady here. I can't see where the fucking camera is, so I don't know where.
Camera.
I have no idea. It like disappeared. I can't get it back. But anyways, shout out to Liz. She's on my TikToks
Bye.
and YouTubes. I'll see you after. Okay. I showed the picture of the chick we banged last week where you guys were in the little outfits. The one where you guys said your fucking booty's out. Liz had never had a threesome before me, and now we've had like over 100 with different girls. So her lay count is now higher with girls than a lot of you guys. Okay. Would you like to spend even more time together? And Alan saw Liz in action. She's like a machine. Girls all love her. We just go up to the hottest girls in the venue and they just love her. Would you like to spend even more time together going into online game, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, texting? Very difficult area to crack. I really got a handle on it around 1,000 lay count. People say like, hey, like this guy's at 100. Why do you give him shit? I get clients come to me at 300 lay count. It's not that 100 girls isn't a lot of girls. It's just that once you've banged 1,000 girls, you've gone through way more of the same situations and you see way more patterns, right? And so I sat down with a guy that was a really hyper analytical client of mine who was a crypto guy in Poland. And that's how I made all these texting charts. I was like, okay, what are the major situations that happen? What do I do? And I basically had him play like devil's advocate with his own questions. Like, well, what do I do if a girl doesn't respond? What if she doesn't respond again? What if she cancels, reschedules, flakes? What are the major objections that I'm aware I always get over text? Giant objections chart. So then when the client that's a virgin or regardless of his level comes on, he is texting at my level out of the gate. Think about how powerful that is to convert your phone numbers into dates. That alone is like a giant reason why guys are getting so many results in my programs. Like, yes, I max out their cold approach skills. Yes, I give them the best chances online. But when they're literally just copying my charts for their Tinder messages and their texting, it takes away all the guesswork. And their texting and Tinder messaging is now on my level instantly. That's incredibly powerful. Then we get their date, close rate up to like 75%. We get their retention rate very high. And that's it. Like, I wish them fucking good luck. I'm not, let me sell you 100 more things for 5 more years, 10 more years, and watch you suffer as I benefit. No, I want to hear that you fucking went out and crushed, that you got your dream girl. And that one slide you guys saw with all the clients' photos, a lot of very average looking guys, a lot of them were fairly nerdy and still are. And they've got fucking 9s by their side or 9.5s by their side. They're beating the other dating coaches in the space who settled for a 3 or a 4. Which do you prefer, right? It should be a fucking no-brainer. Running and closing dates, creating rotation, getting a girlfriend. There's a lot more to this that goes beyond the cold approach. Okay, so with your permission, guys, and just let me know in the chat that I have your permission. I'd like to show you the process quickly that we take our clients through in the Platinum Dating System 8-week program that brings them from no game, or it's not that we only train virgins and guys that suck. I get guys of all levels. I even get advanced guys that said multi-hundred lay count guys. But there's still gaps everywhere in most people's game. A guy at 300 count that came to me recently, I fixed so many things. He was like, dude, I didn't realize so much was wrong. I thought I did good because I banged 300 girls. He got 25 dates in a weekend after we fixed most of the shit. He only went on 9 of them. But That shows you what's possible, right? Let's see. And most of those 300 were from online in Thailand, so that's like the asterisk there. Brings that before he trained with me. Brings them from no game to a rotation of regulars and meeting their girlfriend as little as 30 to 60 days. Most guys in our 8-week program are getting 1 to 2 new girls per week. That comes out to 50 to 100 girls a year. Most guys in my week program are putting 1 new rotation on per week. That comes out to 4 girls per month new on rotation. So within a month, you can have 4 girls on rotation on average. In 2 months, you can have 8 girls on rotation on average. And you can get the new flow of dates and new hookups going. And it doesn't mean you need to go bang lots of girls or you need to build a big rotation, but whatever your dating goal is, this is the fastest track to accomplish those goals. Okay. So do I have your guys' permission to show you the rest of the process? Okay. Yes. Okay. And trust me, there's still a lot of good value coming. We'll bring on more speakers, a lot more shit's happening. So I just want to go through this. This is, our time to show you how we can help you a lot more. Okay. You've seen how much it can help you with the cold approach. So I want you to see how much it can help you with the rest of it. Okay. Before I do that, can you think of any possible reason, think hard, that if you use what you've learned over the last 2 days, that you'd not be able to approach and at least get a phone number? Okay. Who still thinks that they're an exception? Tell me your reason. I will tell you why that's inaccurate. Okay. Okay. Someone says their mindset's just in the way. Okay.
We've got here, John, that Rez thinks his Instagram might be off or Snapchat might be off. You barely even use that.
It doesn't matter. Most girls won't see it.
Losing to, I love Rico, man. You're like my favorite dude right now. Losing to the bitch ass voice in my head, like I did last night, bro. That's just gonna come down. We're gonna go through some.
You need it. I said to a few guys in the chats last night, I said, listen, this is fucking extreme, but imagine there was a gun to your head and the trigger's going off after 3 seconds. Would you pussy out on the approach? And everyone's like, no, of course not. Okay. We're not going to have anyone put a literal gun to your head, but you have to think of it like that. It's you against yourself. You're not going to, even if you take a live 3-day boot camp, we will make you go and approach, but you're not going to have us there by your side at all times. It's you against yourself. You have to have the discipline and you have to man up and force yourself. Somebody said they were watching the mystery YouTube clip, and I love this clip, where he's like, I've met a lot of women. I've talked to them about what they want, and they all say one thing: man the fuck up, son. He says it right in the camera. And a lot of guys, like one guy was like, I seen a lot of girls I wanted to approach, but I didn't do it because I was scared. I said, don't be a pussy. Like, people need to hear that. Right? I've had people tell me that back in the day. You need to hear that. It's tough love. And the guy's like, you're right. And then he's like, okay, I just got a number. There you go. You jumped in the pool. You stopped fucking dipping your little toes in the pool and being like, yeah, it's cold. You jumped in the pool. You got a number. The world didn't end. It was fine.
I will say, John, I'm going to add to this. For those of you that are sitting here and you're like in this place where you're, you've got this mindset position, this place that you're at where you're like, I stutter or I can't get the words out of my mouth. First of all, go to johnanthonylifestyle.com/proof. Guys on there, I think we've got a couple of case studies, literally couldn't speak to a girl, right? This is commonplace. And there's a stepping stone here. There are micro steps that you can take, small steps. 1, get out of the house. 2, and I think Vasal will speak into this. You guys are going to get a chance to meet him, how he went through this process of psychology to get him to be able to actually move forward. Another one of the comments here, John, was age. We've got gentlemen here that are like over 40, 50, and they're like, Jesus Christ, like, how do I walk up to a young woman at 30, 40, 50, 55? Like, this
you do it anyways, right? Like, I had a 72-year-old in my week program last year that banged an 18-year-old, right? And it's not about like a contest of what kind of age gap spread you can get, but that was even inspiring to me. And a lot of guys were like, what do you say when the girls ask how old you are? And he says, I look at them and smile and I say, I'm old as fuck. And the girls laugh. And I was like, dude, I talk like that too. And I don't say I'm old as fuck. I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 this year. But I don't look, girls usually think I'm between like 28 and 33 or whatever. But once I'm older, I'm still going to talk. Like, don't let it enter your mind at all. Sometimes a girl will say, well, you're too old for me. That's fine. Tons of others won't. So instead of like presupposing that every girl thinks that, remember the 45-year-old that was one of our testimonials? He was an Italian guy that trained me in Poland. Some girl told him, "You're old enough to be my dad," in the club. He thought every girl must think that. I disproved that by getting him laid with a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old university students from Krakow that were visiting Warsaw. And it was an awesome night. And he let me bang his girls too, because like I was out with a fuck buddy. I banged one, he banged one, and then a different night he banged
We've also
one.
got, like we've said, we've got a story. If you miss it on day one, this is commonplace. We've got plenty of clients that are over 45 who are just recently divorced, that haven't been in the game for over a decade,
lots of
two
clients like that, yeah.
decades. Men which have been in a position where they've been married, they're completely feeling isolated. They're now thrusted back into this new dating reality that they were never a part of. Online game seems confusing. Going out is intimidating. All their men, the male friends, are still married, still either engaged. They don't really know where to begin, what to do. And if you're in that place, this is going to be a system that you can start deploying. And we have dozens and dozens of clients every single quarter that are coming through. We're going to share, though, you're going to meet one of them again, which is going to be Craig coming in. He's 42 years old, and he's going to be sharing with you, 44 now. So you're going to be like, you're going to have an opportunity to really connect. This is not age specific. So if you feel like that's a limitation, you're about to just get your mind blown.
I'm glad you mentioned Craig, because Craig tried coaching with lots of coaches, right, between age 32 and 42, and went from 2 lay count to 2 lay count. So in his whole 30s, he wasn't able to get laid, not even once. Came to me, banging 7 girls in 8 weeks, and now he's been with 38 girls. So, and he's in his 40s now. He's banging the lion's share by far of the girls in his 40s. And I've seen pictures. One was a 9. He's pulling threesomes. Like, I can't count the number of girls that said like we prefer older guys. They're more experienced, they're more grounded, they're less immature, et cetera. They're better in bed in general, et cetera, et cetera. So we are lucky as men that we can still date younger, beautiful women, even as we get into our 50s.
And a lot of women these days are going to want older guys. Like, I cannot tell you, when you play in our world and you see the amount
seeing
of
seeing is believing. That's why
seeing is believing. That's why we want to get you surrounded by a community of brothers that are going to be in the war zone with you, connected with you. I'm going to answer one more here, and then John, we're just going to move in to the next conversation here. So, Jack, you're asking whether or not you can get accountability support. Yeah, we're going to explain that to you right now. A lot of you guys are struggling with accountability because you stay at home, you feel isolated, disconnected from the world. When the Friday night comes, you decide to watch Netflix instead of go out. I get it. I'm a fucking introvert. I relate and resonate with that. But we're going to walk you through an accountability framework and exactly how that can support you to go from where you are to the place where you want to be, dating a series of regulars or ultimately meeting your girlfriend or your dream wife. So we're going to step you through that in a second. So John, over to you.
Okay. All right, cool. So as I said, there's over 1250 case studies now of regular guys getting extremely good, extremely fast on our proof page. Let me actually just play this really quick. I don't know if the audio is still plugged in on my screen share. Let me just reshare very quickly here. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to play this really quickly, and then we'll talk again in a second.
If you're looking for a change in your dating life, Platinum Dating System is for you.
Natural, systematized, and easy to follow for anybody.
I think anyone who wants a good quality love life owes it to himself to get Leads Machine.
John is an excellent coach. He's very no bullshit, no fluff, and he cuts to the core of what makes the game work.
Platinum Dating System really works. Since joining, I've got a fuck ton of lot more matches. I feel a lot better about myself. Knowing how to run the date has really made cold approaches a lot easier.
I became more confident. I became more of my authentic self, especially when I talk to women. I just say directly what was ever on my mind.
My level of confidence is like insane.
I was able to line the dates up, but I didn't really know what to do in terms of how to run the dates properly. So it helped me get more matches, more higher quality matches.
It's only been 8 weeks, and it's been life-changing to say the least. So previously I'd call myself maybe more intermediate in terms of game. So I was at maybe 55 lay count, and then over 8 weeks I increased that to 71. And if I mess up, I can always go back to John and his system and understand what I did wrong.
He answers all your questions. He takes care of you. I've used other strategies of his just from his free content to optimize my life. It's been an honor.
Now I know what to do. When you get on that date, you don't have to question things. You know what to do. He gives you it all mapped out from A to Z. Ever since taking his course, I just became a more confident man, and I just learned how to be a man around women.
Pretty recently, I got laid for the first time in years, which was awesome. She was one of the hottest chicks I've been with.
I'm getting a lot more better connection with the girls that I do end up seeing. I'm getting a lot more chemistry with girls that I go on dates with. A lot of the girls will come straight to my house and meet me here. My sex game has gotten a lot better. I make girls come a lot more, and I get a lot more compliments on that. I get a lot more compliments in general about basically everything.
The fact that the system's so repeatable and easy to follow and natural and flows well with any personality is definitely one of the best times I've had.
Where all I had to do was use the exact messages and texts John told me to use to get a steady stream of girls coming straight to my house. Now I've gone from up to 64 girls from 5 girls, and I have a rotation of attractive women that I see regularly, including a 9 out of 10 main girlfriend who's cool with me seeing other girls.
If you're thinking about changing your dating life for good and having a comprehensive system that you can rely on for life and just continue to iterate and just put better and better quality women in your life in the input and end up with them being with you as the output, then John's dating advice and his system and his mentorship program cannot be beat. I highly recommend it.
Changed my life for the better, and I'm thankful to John for helping me so much.
Sorry about that. I was trying to take myself off mute. Okay. So that's cool. Like I worked with all those guys personally, so it's fucking awesome hearing their stories after. Okay. So here's what it looks like to have us help you get your dream dating life in as little as 4 weeks. Okay. Here's what we've learned this weekend. We've covered night game, day game, how to get phone numbers, and even how to take girls home. But here's the rest of my system, okay? At the top here, we have sexual market value upgrades, SMV upgrades. You're going to hear from Kristen from our team shortly, who is a former GQ stylist that helps guys upgrade their fashion and style. You're going to hear from Jay Vincent, who has partnered with us and helps train guys on fitness. We've partnered with Snapper, which has a global network of high-quality portrait photographers that takes pictures for our clients in every English-speaking city around the world. We have a team of girls that takes your pro photo shoot that you get from Snapper, picks the best 5 photos, applies a set of upgrades. I write your bio for you, and we have a 30-page guide that shows you exactly what directions to give to your photographer to get the most optimized pictures that are going to work the best in your favor. We also have example profiles of mine and all our top clients who had the best profiles, okay, and with rationale written out by the girls, so you know from a female's perspective exactly why these pictures work. And you can literally just replicate them. We have people that are like, hey, give me pictures that look like these 5 here, and then they get them. Online game messaging, that's all done for you. As I said, I give you all the charts, all the texting, all done for you. I give you all the charts. You don't have to come up with any of the messages on your own. I show how to set a lot of the girls straight to your house. About 70%, 70 to 80% even will come straight to your house, and you can skip the drink or coffee. But I show you how to set the public dates for the drink or coffee, how to close them, and how to keep the girls you want. Okay. And that's the beauty of this process. We make you max out your sexual market value, collect leads from cold approach and online game, work them down into phone numbers, work those down into dates, work those down into hookups, and then work those down into getting your dream girlfriend or building your dream rotation. That's how the whole process looks. Okay. So in phase 1, you set up a free 30-minute call with me and my team. We review your current obstacles and challenges. We optimize the profile as I spoke about. Okay, pro picks. I write the bio, girls pick the best pictures. So that way you're just crushing all the rest of the guys. Most guys are using average pictures and making all kinds of mistakes and putting up whatever pictures they think look good, which are going to be far different from whatever ones the girls resonate with. I don't choose which pictures should be put into the profile, right? I let hot girls do that because then they're already pre-vetted for when you go show your profile to lots of other hot girl strangers. One-on-one fashion consultation, okay, with Kristen. And then you get weekly calls to help optimize your wardrobe, recombine outfits that you already have into new ways. And she gives you recommendations for new outfits. Okay, Jay Vincent puts you on the fast track to maximize your physique and diet. Make sure you guys are on mute. Okay. So, and I'm using Jay's system permanently. I'm in the best shape of my life. I don't know if you guys can see my camera thing crash, so I can't see a preview of myself right now, but I'm in super good shape. Girls compliment my body all the time. And basically he'll help you either lose the weight or put on the muscle or both that you need to in the most optimal, quickest way possible. I really see him as like my equivalent in the fitness space. He has an optimized system that cuts out all the bullshit, all the false information, and just puts you on the fast track to get your dream physique as quickly as possible. He'll give you all the workout and diet advice handled personally, okay, on his calls and with his training. So you'll have a top 1% profile, you'll have a fitness plan, new physique, and new wardrobe. And you don't have to go dump a bunch of money on a new wardrobe, by the way. She'll help you recombine stuff in different ways. This will boost your self-esteem and self-confidence, okay? And you will also be set up with 8 weeks of coaching and training with me for dating, okay? 64 total hours of calls. There's 4 calls a week that are 2 hours each. You don't have to attend every single one, but that's 8 hours of calls a week. Over 8 weeks is 64 hours of calls. That's why our program works so well. You're implementing my optimized system. As you run into question, problems, blocks, points of confusion, you come on and I give you the optimal fix for each and every one. So you get stuck on a date, okay? Or let's say you get stuck on a cold approach. I fix those things. You go out the next day, you get past that, you get a solid number. Then you fuck up over text. I mean, that wouldn't happen because you have my text scripts. But this is the progression of how we fix things. I fix the text mistake, then you get a date. Okay, then you fuck up on the date. I fix those problems. Now you get to go back home. You fuck up there. I fix those problems. Now you get a hookup. And the good news is once you've fixed at a certain level, it just outputs for the rest of your life. When you get good at closing your dates, you can do that forever. When you get good at pulling from cold approach, you can do that forever. When you get good at keeping the girl you want, you can keep most girls that you sleep with. Okay, and I'll give you the exact blueprint for each step of the dating process. This is Tavion. We're going to hear from him in a moment. He was a virgin that was about to give up. He tried with a lot of other dating coaches. He was about to turn to the black pill, which says that looks is the full equation. So he was about to say, game doesn't work because I tried with all these other coaches. We did put him through the process. He got the pro photos. We upgraded his dating profile. He started getting a night and day difference in quantity and quality of matches. What does he message on Tinder? The exact scripts that I give him. What does he message after he gets the phone number over text? The exact scripts I give him. He now had a conveyor belt of dates. He lost his virginity on week 1. And this is a guy that, remember I said in a story yesterday that after he got his first close of his life, right, he lost his virginity, he fucked up the retention portion. And he's like, oh, I messed up these things. And I was like, well, make sure you do those next time. And he's like, I don't care though, because I have 4 more new dates this weekend. So he flipped the switch from scarcity to abundance. And then he went on to bang 8 girls across the course of the 8 weeks, right? Which is obviously 9-day difference from 0. And had he not found me, he would have been maybe an incel, right? God forbid, right? And this is what happens to a lot of guys. And this is why I teach this stuff. This is why I actively fight against the people that are fucking people over while simultaneously trying to give them the quickest, most effective system to get them out of that place. Totally different guy now. And he'll tell that story. And it's very satisfying as a coach to be responsible for that, directly responsible for that. He says he gets more respect from his family, from his coworkers, from his friends, right? He has a rotation now. He would have went maybe sexless as a virgin his whole life. And he would have thought the explanation was that he didn't look like a Chad. That is bullshit. This is one example of thousands of why that's bullshit. Lost Virginia week 1, ain't doing over 8 weeks, as I said. Okay. So look at the little animation here. In phase 1, we fix all your SMV stuff and we optimize your online profile. Okay, now these are all green. The goal is to turn red. I took this from the military days. I wasn't in the military, but I was a contractor for Lockheed Martin, the defense contractor. And we had something called the green board. Green means optimized, functional, etc. Yellow means degraded. Red means non-functional and basically like broken. Most guys come to me with all these boxes red. That is the traditional state. Even if you're getting some level of success, usually your system is severely broken. If you're maybe okay at Tinder or you're okay at running dates, maybe we could make those yellow, right? It depends on the quantitative stats, but you want them all to be green. That's where you're going to be getting the most output, the most return on your time, the best level of results. So what I do with each and every client that comes to the 8-week program is I turn every single box that's red into green, and we do it systematically. So you saw in phase 1, we turn all these green. Okay, phase 2, we give you all the cold approach training, and it's not just a repeat of what you guys heard the past 2 days. Remember, you're interfacing with me weekly, so I'm walking you through any and all problems that you run into on a personalized level with me interacting with you directly. Okay, I give you the exact online message sequences to use on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. This results in a massive quantity and quality of matches, phone numbers, and dates. And I give you the exact texting sequences to turn those numbers. Just think of a Tinder match as something you have to convert into a phone number. Think of a phone number as something you have to convert into a date. That's the name of the game. Think of a date as something you need to convert into a hookup. And think of a hookup as something you need to turn into a rotation girl. Just let it go if you don't want to see her again. Now, most guys are getting their schedules packed full of dates by week 2 or 3. Happened to Tavion, even though he was a virgin. Happens to almost every guy through the program, regardless of their experience level. They suddenly go 2 to 3 weeks later from getting maybe a date now and then or no dates to having too many that they cannot fit in their schedule. And it literally happens in 2 to 3 weeks, even though it's an 8-week program, because we're fixing so many things. The reason why I made 4 calls in the program is to way over deliver and it essentially allow us to iterate faster, so that when, if we met once a week, you'd run into some problems we'd fix, and then I wouldn't be able to help you drive in more fixes for a week. But since we meet 4 times a week, we can drive in fixes 4 times out of 7 days. Do you see? And so now you're literally leveling up on a day-to-day basis almost, and very quickly. And then you're breaking into new territory where there's no more bottlenecks in your system, and you're able to reliably move girls down through the process to hookups. And that's how you get, it's feast or famine, right? You can keep doing the fucking bullshit you've always done and get the results you've always gotten, or you can come to the other side where it's just raining hot vagina on your head, and your confidence will be strong in that scenario, I promise. Hard not to have rock solid confidence when you're banging lots of girls, especially if they're very hot, which if you've never done that, or you don't think you can, trust me, you can. We'll talk to Craig how he banged a 9. We'll talk to Vasal how, dating a chick that looks like Anna de Armas. This is stuff that these guys never would have thought happening in their wildest dreams. And a girl like Liz, or being in 5-sums and the crazy shit that I do, bang 1,600 girls, not in a million years did I think that was going to happen either. I didn't think I would bang 1 girl. Okay, so dare to dream, I guess. Here's another important piece. Okay, I give you the exact confirmation text sequences the night before and the morning of to minimize chances of flaking. Who here fucking hates flaking? Let me know in the chat. Who here hates flaking? Who here hates girls ghosting over text? I can try to minimize all that. Who here hates what else is really shitty? I can help you minimize rejections, flaking, negative reactions. Okay, all that stuff. Yeah, it fucking sucks. And I'll show you how to maximize your show up rate for your dates and also maximize the success of those dates. And I also give you a personalized game plan on how to run your date to get her home. There's a very easy to learn blueprint that'll make most of your dates go wildly successful. Okay, so that way you'll have the ability to run your date successfully. I get clients that come to me, hey, I didn't even bring home the last 10 dates. What do you think is going to happen on the next 10? Okay, I can get you bringing home 8 out of those next 10. You want to know how? Would you like to start doing that next week? Okay, let's do it. And then they do, and they're like, oh my God, I stopped going to jujitsu. My boss is young. And, very often, one of the biggest questions I get is, how do I not let so many girls interfere with my life? And I'm like, you need to have some fucking self-control and discipline. I know banging a hot chick, and trust me, I have the same problems, right? I know banging a hot chick is more fun than pretty much everything else, but you still have to go do what you have to do in life. Right? But now you have quality problems, right? Is it better wondering which year you're going to finally get laid to some overweight girl that that lost her friends one night when you're just out and you get lucky? Or would you like to proactively start packing your schedule full of hot girls that are cool, that are fun, that are thinking about you all day, that are texting you and blowing up your phone? It's much more fun in the second scenario, okay, as you can imagine. This is Joe, who now coaches on our team. When he came to me, he was getting rejected a lot. He had a lot of self-esteem issues. He changed his mind with approaching, and we removed a lot of little mistakes he was making. He ended up getting 7 girls in 2 weeks. Then he got 200 girls in 4 years. Joe's he's been a client for a long time. We've been close friends now for many years, and he's been a coach, for a few years for me now. He's up to 670 lay count, 672 or something. He just updated me recently. He's destroying it. Okay. And he's a divorced guy and he has a couple kids and he's crushing hard. Very proud of him. Okay. So there we go. Now, as you see in the animation, the online game texting and public dates go green. Okay. Now what about closing? This one, as I said yesterday, kind of sucks if you're failing at it because you're basically at the finish line and you've gotten the girl back to where you live and she's not banging you because you're making mistakes. Okay. So we fixed that permanently. What do you do when you bring her home? How do you keep her around? And you don't want to just have a string of one night stands. Trust me, it sucks. Like you don't want to do all this work and bang the chick and the sex was great and she looked awesome naked and you had a great connection and then she ghosts and you never see her again. After that happens a few times, you're going to be like, oh my God, how do I fucking keep these girls? Lucky for you, I have an optimized system for it, as I do for every little fucking piece of the game. I'll show you how to make her your girlfriend. I'll show you how to make her rotation girl, whatever you want, quickly with high chances. You can keep almost any girl. It's very easy once you know how. And it's not manipulative or anything like that. There's key things that you need to do that are going to not make her feel like this was a cheap hookup. There's key things you need to do to make her show that you appreciate her and that you want to see her a lot more and all these things. So, without going into the details, once you do those things, you'll be able to keep almost any girl, even if they're full package. Okay. And I'll show you how to build a relationship with that girlfriend and give you a step-by-step process to managing your rotation girls. I run big rotations. Like in Poland, I had one that was like 17 different girls. Here it hovers around 12 to 14. But as when work gets busier and stuff, they get neglected and whatever. So I used to just always prioritize girls. Now we're trying to, scale our company and I did a lot with my physique over the past year or two. So it's important to have a well-rounded life, right? I wanted to optimize the skill set first, but then once I achieved that, it was all about, achieving a balance, a healthy balance. So I don't look like that one picture you saw where at the end of my drinking days. Okay. Michael, very proud of this guy. Got out of a long-term relationship, was out of the game for years, was at one lay count when he joined. And we optimized how he went on dates, how he closed, helped him set up a rotation. He ended up getting 16 girls over 4 months. So about 4 girls a month. But again, a guy that only one girl jumping up to 16 is a pretty big deal. And a lot of people only sleeping with 6 or 7 girls in their life. And again, I don't want to make the focus. We're just looking at quantitative stats here. That's why I talk about my own results so much. It's not some contest to see who can bang the most girls or that you need to be banging a certain amount of girls per month to be happy. That's not the message. The message is the system will give you a lot of good quality opportunities, and then you can do what you want from there. I don't tell guys what their goal should be. I don't tell guys what they should do with, with these skills. A lot of guys will go and date around until they find a girl they really like, and they'll cut off all the other ones. That's what Vassal did. Now he has like this Anna de Armas. For those of you who don't know, she's like some hot model looking girl. It's like girl that looks just like her. He showed me pictures. And a lot of those other client pictures, they wait until they, usually at the point when they're like, I like hanging out with this girl more than any of the other girls. I would rather be with this girl than be with a random girl. Cool. So do it. And they're like, but what about like new dates? What, shouldn't I be getting new leads? If you want to. You don't have to. There's nothing that says you have to like keep churning out new hookups or keep churning out new dates or keep, hitting the clubs every weekend. If you've achieved your goal, you can enjoy it, right? The important part is to have the tools to get to your goal and not have to settle for some other situation, which is what almost every guy on the planet is doing. And that's not usually a good situation, right? It's jerking off and fucking living on the sidelines and wishing it could be different. It can. And it will be for some of you. Some of you are going to choose to make it different. Okay. And there it is. We made the closing green and retention. When we iron that out, goes green as well. And your whole system is green. Okay. So we'll continue to refine and optimize your bottlenecks. This is phase 4, mastery and support. Who is this making some of you excited? I mean, this is like my dream. I love flowcharts. I love looking at like the stats flowing down and like, all the algorithmic processes and shit here. It's fairly technical, but I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. You're flowing down from top to bottom, collecting phone numbers, turning them into hookups, turning them into dates. Cool. Someone's saying, is this part of VIP or an upgrade? This is going to be the 8-week program where we're going to be offering you guys a special deal on for being part of this event. Okay. And that's largely why the price is so small. We want to make a low barrier to entry so we can show you like nothing held back. Here's how good I can get you a cold approach, make you a believer that my shit works, right? That you might have believed me from all the proof I show, but most guys, or not, I shouldn't say most guys, a lot of guys think that they're an exception. A big goal of this event is to give you a whole bunch of breakthroughs and epiphanies so you can see that this is in the realm of possibilities for you. To hear from guys like Craig, who is a two late count, almost virgin for 10 years, wishing it was different, praying, hoping, trying hard, money, time, effort. It's not that guys aren't trying. It's not that guys aren't taking enough action. They are. A lot of clients I've had have taken fuck tons of action over many years. And what is the logical conclusion that they arrive at after all those years of wasted time, effort, in some cases, money? It must not work for me, or pickup is fake, or it's all looks, or girls are the problem, or I should just not care about getting girls. Those are all the wrong answers. And these black pill, red pill, MGTOW movements are poisonous, toxic movements that are there to give you a victimized excuse to not actually get this area handled. But the good news is it's not really your fault, because there's so many predatory, frankly, extremely shitty systems out there, almost all of them. And ask Jay Vincent what it's like in the fitness industry, the same fucking thing. Ask Bulldog Mindset what it's like in the finance game, same fucking thing. Where people need help, where people are in pain, comes in all these sharks to mislead you, to put you on a hamster wheel. Okay, because what's happening on the hamster wheel? They're getting paid. Okay, my goal is not to have you as a client for life. My goal is to fix the problem as quickly and permanently as possible. Yes, we charge for our services, but I want to have the reputation, and I do in a lot of circles, of having the best system by far, of having the best results for clients by far. I'm very proud of that. I devoted my life to optimizing the system so that I could have that effect. And I've achieved that. And the only thing left for us now is to spread our message and scale our message to as many people as possible. And I'm going to be, I'm going on Valuetainment podcast in like a little over a week, okay, in the US live. And I'm going to use it as a springboard to get on tons more podcasts this year. And we're going to be scaling up our paid advertising, and we're going to reach a lot more people and help a lot more people. Okay. And that's the goal, is to take every Tavion, Craig, and Basal and make them into a fucking rock star. Okay. These guys who thought they would never pull a threesome or never pull anyone or never even lose their virginity are now banging models, are now fucking, you'll hear from them in a moment. So in the mastery and support phase, even after we turn this all green, you still are going to want to raise your quality. Trust me, if you're banging 7s, 7.5s, 8s, you're going to want 9s, you're going to want 9.5s. If you're banging 9.5s that are annoying, shitty, Instagram obsessed, bitchy girls, you're going to want 9.5s that are smart and cool and educated and fun and not a bitch to you, and et cetera, et cetera. And there's tons and tons and tons of girls out there like that. Don't let anyone tell you there's not. I've personally dated countless amounts of them. So have a lot of my close friends, and so have a lot of my clients. Okay. And I'm here to tell you that you can too. Don't think that you're the exception. So we'll refine and optimize your bottlenecks. The goal is to keep eliminating as many problems as possible. We take care of most of the big problems in the first week or two. That's the refining process. To keep new problems will come out as you progress. Like maybe you get stuck where you're banging 8.5s and you're failing with 9s and 9.5s. There's always new levels to this, right? Like I had my first 5-some like 2 years ago, and it's like 8 tits in my face, and you're like, you don't even know whose boobs are whose, right? Not complaining, but it's fucking awesome. So I think like it's like diminishing returns. Like we had like 11 girls running around in underwear and butt naked at one point when I was living with 3 girls last year in Florianopolis, and they're like jumping on a stripper pole, and it's like it feels like it like surreal. It's like what is happening here? All right, so you only have one dick, right? Okay, so you'll have good chances of turning any stranger in public or from the online apps into a romantic or sexual relationship. And when you can do that, you're going to be walking around like you're James Bond. I literally walk through public, I see a hot girl, and I already have the whole fucking interaction mapped out. Like here's all the permutations, here's how it'll go. Like, no way this won't work out. Does it always? No, but it does a lot of the time, right? And that's what makes it so fun. I think if it worked out 100% of the time, it wouldn't even be fun, because that element of like needing, like overcoming, you know, something that you didn't know if it was gonna work out, and it does. That's what's precisely what makes it so satisfying. It's not just about like conquering strangers and stuff like that, but there is a great sense of satisfaction when you can see a beautiful, stunning woman in public and everyone's looking at her, and you're the one that can go up and she falls for you, and then you bang her, and then you're getting to know her and enjoying her in your life for months or years. That is a superpower. Don't tell me it's not. You know, most guys would love to have that skill, and the good news is you can, and you can have it quickly. So we'll support you to make sure you hit your goals, whether that be a rotation, threesomes, girlfriend, marriage. I get married guys that come to me that want to expand like partners in their life. They want to bring girls either into their marriage or just have girls on the side. They're like, we don't know anyone in the industry doing this besides you. So they come to me, right? I get very wealthy guys that are very successful in business that want to just have a cool girlfriend and they don't know how to get it, right? I can help you get that cool girlfriend as quickly as possible. So, you know, we'll give you an exact game plan of what to do and say. We'll show you how to up your quality so that you can get the girls that you deserve and the girls that you truly want. And also full package internally. It's not just about looks, right? At some point, when you're able to regularly bang really hot girls, then you look past the looks. You know, it happens pretty quickly once you're banging hot girls and you're like, well, there's hot girls that suck and hot girls that don't suck. So I'm not going to put up with shit from the hot girls that suck. And they're always so shocked. Like I kicked a girl out of a foursome a couple of years ago, and she was like, because she was being rude to Liz. And like there was 3 girls playing rock, paper, scissors for who was going to bang me first. And the one girl was like, I already banged him earlier today. I'm not going to play that game. And there was like a 19-year-old there that was making jokes, and the one girl got rude. And I was just like, you know, I don't like you being rude to these other 2 girls. I really like these other 2 girls. So you got to go. And she's like, nobody's ever, blah, blah. She's like, you know, I won't see you again. I'm like, that's fine. Why? Because I have other hot girls. Why? Because I can get a lot more new hot girls. Why? Because I don't need to put up with that shit, even if she's hot. And the girl's blowing up my phone and all of this shit, but never banged her again. Don't want to, don't care. Right. And that sounds like, oh yeah, good for you. You can get in that position. A lot of the guys leave testimonials. Hey, I have multiple hot girls now. I didn't realize I could bang an average girl. And I have hot girls now that I'm really competing over me and stuff. Okay. So you'll get true confidence, and girls will never be a problem again in your life. And it's literally one of the coolest things you can solve and have a skill about. This is Nick. He'd been with 5 girls before joining, wanted to have a hot main long-term girlfriend. We optimized how he texted to get girls from online game. We helped him how to retain hot girls, helped him set up a rotation, showed him how to run the relationship, got 16 new women over 8 weeks. So a little over 2 a week, or I guess 2 a week exactly. Has a long-term girlfriend now, built a rotation of girls he sees on the side. I think he's like, you heard him in the montage. I think he's at 70 something or 80 something, but that was a bit ago. I think he actually cracked 100 recently, because I congratulated him. So yeah, do you want this red or green? I mean, who here wants it green? I mean, it should be a no-brainer. Like, let me know tell me red or green. Would you rather have this all be broken or all fixed? I mean, okay, green. Yes, green. It's a no-brainer, right? Like, Alan was a client of mine, and when Alan came to me, he was already very successful in business, and he didn't have the love life he wanted. He didn't have the dating life he wanted. And I was still taking the intro calls to our program at that point. And I spoke to him directly, and he said what was really amazing is I didn't try to sell him at all. I said, I showed him this chart here. Here it is, all red. That's where you are. And I think he had some areas working to some degree. Most guys have, they're not fully incompetent in every area. It varies from guy to guy, right? I don't remember everyone's initial situation exactly, but I said, here's how we'll turn each one green across 8 weeks. Here's the results the guys typically get. And here's why it has a very high chance of working for you too. And then I was like, it's up to you if you want to sign up. And he said there was like no sales pressure at all. And like, no, do you want to speak to that all, Alan? I basically was like, that's it. Because the results in the system speaks for itself. Right.
I can only speak to my experience. I was in a 3-year relationship. I at the time was a long distance to move my shit to the United States, living in West Palm, And it's not like my life was broken. The reality
Yeah.
for me as a man was that I had a great woman, but she wasn't the woman I wanted to marry. There was just this feeling of tension in my mind. I'm like, do I really want right now to marry this particular woman? But the problem that I faced, this is why I hit you up, was I just wanted to get to abundance first. I didn't want to choose from a place of scarcity. And I certainly didn't want to choose like the number one most important woman in my life. You can pin me, guys, just for a second, would be great. I didn't want to be in a position where, as a man, where I'd end up finding myself is 12 years down the road, not having vetted out enough amazing women and then settled for something that was good, maybe even very good, but then having this feeling of regret. And I kind of had this narrative in my mind, and I still do, which is if you choose to marry from a place of scarcity, and you choose to marry when you're in a place of, and you choose to get a long-term partner when you're in a place of like, I finally got a girl versus I can have choice. And so when John and I were speaking, he's like, bro, do you want this? I'm like, that's your pitch? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll make it work for you. So I ended up dating this amazing woman. I met a great girlfriend not long after. We didn't end up getting married.
After the training.
After this was like less than, I think it was like 4 to 5 weeks. I barely attended more than 1.5 calls, to be fair. Maybe half a call. It's like, you just fucking plugged into this shit. That's how John and I got into business. I'm a guy that validates shit. I'm also the most skeptical motherfucker on the planet. So when I met you, I just was like, all right, well, let's just give it a go. If it's that confident it's going to work, like, yeah, it's going to work. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then anyway, so I got the results, and then him and I started connecting on the business game. And so here we are today. And
here's where that
came together.
Let me speak to that really quickly. You said like, I'm just so confident it'll work. Let me show you really quick, like visually here. Can you guys see my cursor when I move it?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, imagine that whoever you are right now, like look at yourself personally. Okay. Imagine you got stronger through Jay. Okay. You got your fashion better through Kristen, and you got the pro photos, right? And then we have the girls pick the photos. There's no way around the fact that you're going to get way more matches. It's like a guarantee. Okay. You're going to get, because you're presenting the best version of yourself now. You're presenting pro photos, and then the best of the pro photos, and the upgraded aesthetics on the pro photos, and I write your bio. So now you've now optimized your online profile, and that's going to put out results for years. It's a one-time process. Now, like, what's your next step? You got a professional photo shoot. What's your next step? Your next step is either having a girl show up at your house way down here, or going on a date with a girl. Well, wait, how does that happen? Well, now that big quantity and quality of matches coming in, I give you all the scripts for what to message on Tinder. You don't need to come up with any of those messages yourself. You just plug into the scripts. Now you have a supply of phone numbers. There's no way around it. So I give you a supply of matches, no matter who you are, in high quantity and quality. Now you have a supply of phone numbers in high quantity, because I'm converting as many of those matches as I can to phone numbers based on these high functioning scripts that took 1,000 girls to optimize, 10,000 phone numbers. Now you're converting those phone numbers into dates with the text. Whose text game is that? It's mine. And it's the same text I'm using. And you're doing that out of the gate on day one. Now, anyone and everyone is just getting a stream of dates. There's no way around it. And I would tell guys that on the calls, like, even if you're like, trying not to get laid, there's going to be girls showing up at your house. And guys literally like message me and they're like, hey, I have like 5 girls at house who never had a girl over before. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, ha ha ha. Okay, watch this section on closing. Now you know what to do. But it's like, it's so cool to hear shit like that, because they're like, it's all like the system handles all that for you. Do you see that? It doesn't handle your cold approach for you. But that adds in more leads, and you guys are a big leg up on that part. But a lot of the online path is automated because we drive in those upgrades, and literally the next thing the guy has to do is go on the date or have the girl over his house. You'll hear from Tavion, the girl came straight to the house, and lucky he's able to have girls straight to the house. I did like probably over 1,000 dates in public. I didn't even realize you could invite them straight to the house till years into the game, which saves a ton of time and money, and is a sexual screen, right? If they come to the house, they'll probably hook up. But all that aside, Tavion had a girl straight to the house, and she banged within like a few minutes of showing his house, and he was about to give up on ever trying to have sex ever. It's like, and just watching that work, it's like an ego boost for me, right? But it's just really cool. Like, I'm very proud of setting it up this way. If I was like, here, follow these text principles, the guy's going to go fuck it up massively. Most people fuck up their texting, probably like 99.9% of guys. So I don't give them freedom over it. I don't even freeform text most of the time. I follow the scripts too. I develop them. But the good news is that you can just plug, and they're not fancy or gamey or gimmicky. It's basically building deductive compliance ladders. So after she responds to your opener, it's a greased slide to get the number, right? After she responds to your opener on Tinder, it's a greased slide to get the number. After she responds to your opener on text, it's a greased slide to get the date. So literally, there's no way around it. Anyone that signs up for this is now going to get way more matches, way more phone numbers, way more dates, regardless of even doing cold approach. Then you add in all the extra phone numbers and polls you get from cold approach, and it's time to fucking have fun, right? And these guys, you see them in the second week, they're just a totally different person because they're banging chicks, and they're banging lots of chicks. You don't have to go bang lots of chicks. I have clients like, I don't want to bang a lot of girls. I'm like, go on a lot of the dates then, don't bang them, and just find the one that you resonate with the most and bang her. So, okay. And in this fourth stage, I'll speak to this really quickly. Even after we've optimized the whole system, you can still always drive up your quality. You can still always drive up your consistency. Okay. So I want to keep honing in and clearing errors and making sure that any and all problems are solved. And this is all just as seamless as possible from start to finish. Okay. So as a recap really quick, how we're going to help you. Step one, we transform your look, style, and wardrobe. That's the SMV upgrades. Step two, we give you strategy and tactics. That's all the text sequences, running dates, etc. We hone in on how you're going to close and then how you're going to retain. And then we provide continued guidance, okay, to get the quality up, to get threesomes involved, whatever your dream situation is. Like, literally, you can just like write a blank, you can literally write your dream on a paper and be like, here, John, I want this. As long as it's not like totally absurd. Like, I want to, something that's like not like if you wanted to bang like 1 million women or something. I'd probably be able to come up with a plan for that. It's not realistic. Okay. But every guy's goal, we get them to it. And then the guy has new goals because he's like, wait a second, if I have a 9 that loves me here and she's bisexual, why don't I bring in extra girls on the side? I'm like, okay, here you go. Here's how. It's literally like dare to dream and then let your dreams become reality and then live your fucking dream life. That's the power of this. And no one's offering that. No one in the space has anything even close to the effectiveness of this. That's why you hear from most guys around the community that they're not getting better after they train with other coaches. They're not getting better after they've watched products and free content from other coaches. Okay. So, all right. And we'll even help you land your first threesome, pick up strippers if those are goals of yours. Okay. So what we're going to open up right now really quickly before we bring on our guests is we have applications open. People from my team are going to drop in the chats a link. Now, let me be clear. All this link is for a 30-minute call. It's what you hear me fucking annoyingly talk about on YouTube every day. However, as a special thank you for people that are on this event, we're going to be giving you not only a discount, but a whole bunch of extra bonuses, okay, that are worth, as you'll see, like $8,000 in bonuses. So for free. Okay, I'm going to go into that in a second. But you can either click the link in the Zoom. Okay, people are asking the pricing. There's different options if you put on the calls or you don't have the calls, if you add in the fitness or you don't. I mean, the fitness for you guys, the fitness and the fashion are included for free. Normally it's a bunch more. But the goal of the call is to find out your exact goals, your exact weaknesses in the game, and give you a customized game plan and recommend what training level we recommend to fix your situation and get you to your goals as quick as possible. Okay. So what we're dropping in the Zoom, Victor, can you actually make that so it is actually like a hyperlink, like put www in front of it, just so guys can click it in the Zoom. And we're going to drop it in the Facebook group. And you can also just key in this thing at the bottom of the screen, bit.ly/apply-pds-VIP. Now, let me go, and this will just be a 30-minute call. You're not obligated to buy anything. You're not going to be pressured. We'll just go over what your situation is, give you a customized game plan for it, how it ties into our 8-week training, and they'll go over the pricing options with you and what you'll be getting on the call. Okay. Try it one more time with HTTP. There we go. Stupid Zoom. Okay, cool. So we have a clickable hyperlink in Zoom. I highly recommend, because last challenge we actually booked all our call slots. Okay, the last time we ran this in September, around this time, like all the call slots filled up, like within like a couple hours, like on our calendar. So I recommend that you go and take a time slot, and all that will do is just be you speaking to one of our coaches about the details of how we can help you and going over the different options that are possible. That's it. Okay, so you don't have to.
And I'm going to
on-
just walk the
Yeah.
guys through quickly when
Sure.
they click the link, what that looks like. Can you pin me very quickly, Vic? That'd be great.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm going to share the screen quickly.
Okay.
Just
Just bear with us for a second, guys. If you're not interested whatsoever in learning the rest of the system, that's fine. We're just going to breeze through this, and then we're going to go into some guest speakers. Okay, and we have
some of the questions.
we have more.
Some of the
training coming.
questions are around price. You're going to get that walkthrough on the phone call, guys. It just depends on what you need. There's a whole raft of tiers to the system, but this is the application here. It's very simple. You're going to be registering for a call. Please understand, guys, and don't email me when you're upset when the time slots book out. It's going to be about 300-400 men that are going to get the replays. So some of you will be booking in your slots now, which means you'll be scheduling a call for Monday, Tuesday. Some of you will be pushed out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then maybe early next week, just depending. So, but it's basically a series of simple questions. It's an application process. You just go through, answer a couple of quick questions. What's your age? What do you do for a living, etc. Yeah, whatever it is, what it is that your goals are specifically right now is, and what your main challenges are. We'll customize the call for you so that the coaches understand. And by the way, just if you're wondering who you're going to be speaking with, these are John's coaches. These are guys who have had exceptional results in the game over the years. Men that I have a tremendous amount of appreciation, love for, and respect for. That also become very good friends of yours, and will support you throughout the duration of your process with us over the next 8 weeks. And many of you will become close friends with John and myself. And many of you will meet many good friends.
Real quick,
build an accountability network of men around you, which you'll be able to really connect with. So, just
let me
this
interject
John.
super quick.
Sure.
So like I become like pretty close friends with a lot of my clients, right? Like I'm not the kind of coach that's like, you can never talk to me except when we're on coaching calls. And like once we're coaching, I disappear. I stay in contact with most of my clients. I give them my personal number. They fill me in on shit going on. We shoot the shit. A lot of them become my close friends in my personal life, right? So I've gotten the feedback a lot in the space that like I'm one of the only coaches that doesn't like put myself on a pedestal or act like holier than thou. And I think I have the top skills too. I don't mean that arrogantly. I just legitimately have the top skills based on the proof I have and the results I have. But I will be, pretty down to earth with you. And my goal is to get you to where you want to be as quick as possible. And if we didn't accomplish it, which is rare, by the end of the 8 weeks, I will stay in touch with you and make sure I can get you there. Okay. So I'm not one of those coaches that this isn't like a strictly business thing for me. It's I like interacting with you guys. It's very fulfilling to become friends with a lot of you guys that I coach. So, and hopefully that's apparent on the as we run this here. Okay. Did you want to jump back in, or did you want me to take over?
Well, no, I'd love to just bring in a couple of the guys that we've got, because I know that they're going to be with us only for about 20 to 30 minutes, maybe less, maybe 15 minutes, because a couple of you guys have got Vasal.
Sure.
You want to just turn your camera on? We've got Craig, Tavion. I just want you guys to have an opportunity to meet some of the guys that have actually been through the experience.
It's one thing
when you guys are hearing us talk about it, but it's when you have a chance to actually meet some of the guys that are real, that have started in a place of desperate desire and wanting and hoping, and sometimes going through years of this shit failing, and actually hearing from them. So, Craig, is Craig with us, Victor, as well?
No, just start things off. I think Craig is tied up for like another 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, cool, man. Well, Vasal, welcome, my man. What's going on, bro?
Yeah.
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, man.
Let me shout out his stats. So in the 8-week program, he went from 10 leg count to 20 leg count. He pulled 2 19-year-olds at the same time from a nightclub, even though he was scared to even go into clubs before that. And he got the Anna de Armas chick when you were dressed like shit. I already blew up the punchline of that story when you did day game. Did you want to talk about any of those things?
I'd love just for Sal, just start off with like just sharing a little bit about your background, brother. Like tell us where you began, who you are, what you do for work. Just give the guys a bit of perspective. How old are you? All that sort of stuff.
Sure. I'm 29. I run my own company. So that means I work a lot and I don't have a lot of time to go out. But when I do, it's usually, at least in the past, it was just like, fuck, like, I wish I had a couple boys that I could just go out and like meet girls and just like be able to have a good time. But then the problem is most guys are either say they don't care about talking to girls, which I think is bullshit. I think most guys are just afraid, or use the excuse of being introverted. And look, some people are introverted, but I think some people just use that as an excuse to avoid social interactions. So I was in a place where I was doing really well financially, and obviously that's still going on really well, but I was in a new city and I didn't know anybody else. And I'm like, fuck, like I got to get something done. So it's quite nerve wracking to just go out on your own when in the situation that I was in. So I saw John's videos on YouTube and saw a couple of his interviews. I think the first thing I got was one of his leads machine program, just using it for Tinder. I was like, oh, this actually works pretty well. And then a couple of weeks later, I joined something similar like this. I watched the recordings because I was away for the live one, and then pulled the trigger. And as they say, the rest was history.
So tell us, like, let's walk through
full
this.
scorched earth in the summertime, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like I think I only really was active.
Oh, you took a live boot camp too, right? You took a live boot camp with Jesse.
I took the live. Oh, we got to talk about that too. That's a whole other can of worms. But for the 8 weeks, I think it was like my busiest was the first 4 weeks, and then that's when I met my girlfriend at the time. And then I just kind of was like, well, we kind of hit the final level. Like I don't really want to do anything else. So I just kind of stuck around for calls and just asked about like relationship advice.
Yeah, we solved the problem too
John
fast. We
Paul.
always joke about that as a team. Like guys will be on payment plans and they get like a girlfriend of their dreams in week 3, and they're like, well, I don't need any more training. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're actually not together anymore. I walked away from her, but I think there's a lesson in that is.
But she was super hot. You dropped a super hot girl, and that's, you know, having that as an option is nice too. You get others.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is I was in a position where I'm like, I don't see this really going any further than this, but it was probably the easiest breakup I ever had in my life, because you like I just know that if I really put myself out there again, the system will work. So it was actually, it made breakup a lot easier too.
Can you talk about how you felt about cold approach and about, you know, just going into clubs and stuff like that before you did it?
Yeah, no worries. So I never actually had done cold approach, you could say. Most of the time, like I didn't have issues with girls. Like I had girlfriends in the past. I had a fair bit of options, but it was usually because of my work and university, the courses I studied. There just happened to be a ton of girls there, and there was a lot of social proof. So it was usually pretty easy just to get a date in that sense. But
even still, like you started at like 10 girls, right? So
I was as most of the time I'd be in a multi-year relationship. So I never really cold approached anybody ever, but obviously I always wanted to. But I think you guys alluded to it earlier on. Like there'd be nights where I would just walk around the city that I was new to and just kind of like check out what the happening spots were. And I would literally be having like anxiety just walking in the street. I'm like, wow, fuck, this isn't good. Like we gotta figure out a way to fix this. And a lot of that stemmed from just uncertainty in my own self, but also I guess you could say the incongruence between, or maybe that's not the right word, the separation between what I wanted my life to be like and where my life was at that point with regards to just dating and my social life. So it started off really well.
Can I just quickly? So I'm getting just if I can for a second, guys. I'm gonna just interrupt Asal. Guys, there's a bunch of you which have just been DMing. First of all, like big congratulations to a whole bunch of you, Chris, Rowan, Jonah, Michael, Jason, Another one. It was just a bunch of you guys have already submitted applications. I'm a big advocate for pulling the trigger in life. And there's a lot of you right now. Another one just came in that are already getting off the fence and taking action. I want to ask you a question, Vasyl, which is, how did you go from like indecision, like, is this for me, to I'm just going to fucking do this and I'm just going to get a result? Like, there's a bunch of guys watching this, and there's going to be hundreds of guys over the next couple of days that will watch this, and they're going to be thinking to themselves, should I, shouldn't I? Is this really going to work for me? Can you like just talk authentically into that space to the men directly that are watching this?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I'm not really someone who's indecisive, but I can empathize with that because usually indecision comes from uncertainty and fear of opportunity cost, right? So usually people worry that if they will make the wrong decision and that would lead to some sort of negative end result. But sometimes what actually is the thing that they don't think about is that by not doing anything, that's the most costly decision that they're making. I'm in business, so this is a common thing where when you have to reinvest into your company, a lot of times you look at, like a $12,000 bill to revamp something about your company, but then you don't really think about the hundreds of thousands of dollars you're leaving behind by not doing that. And this can be the same, maybe less of a numbers thing and more of a, fulfillment, happiness, lifestyle goal that you want. I mean, if you don't do it, then you're kind of going to, by nature, you're going to be in the same position that you were before. You can't expect that new things to happen if you don't make and take actions that were different than what you were doing beforehand.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
And maybe that is getting this program. Maybe it's not. I don't actually know. But the thing is, you have to do something different, right?
If we had come to you before you trained with me and said, like, do you think you'd be able to bring two 19-year-old hot girls out of a club at the same time? You would have been like, get the fuck out of here. No way. Or like, do you think you'd be able to pick up a model looking girl in day game dressed like shit? Like when you were wearing sweatpants and stuff.
I wouldn't, to be honest, John, I wouldn't have said, get the fuck out of here. I would have been like, how do we do it? I'm more like that, where I wasn't really at a point where I didn't believe that I could these things. I genuinely believed that I just didn't know how, and I didn't have the time, or you could see the energy to spend the time to figure it out on my own. I kind of wanted the fast track way to do it. And a lot of the times I just look like it's kind of like, think of it as like asking your older brother for help on like asking that cute girl out to the prom when you're in middle school or when you're in high school. It's kind of the same thing, just much higher level in advance. Then you have to, put money up front, but it is what it is. It's like you got to pay to play in life sometimes. So,
well, let's talk about money for a second. You brought up money. Let's just just knock that nail right in the head. Straight up, what is, like, when you think of investing into this area of life, most men, and I've met thousands of men at this point now and listened to hundreds upon hundreds of conversations with that team, including the ones that I've been involved in. And guys are like, they'll happily go invest into cars. They'll invest into houses. They'll spend money on travel. They'll spend money on, buying technology and the latest fucking iPhone. And they'll spend money on apartments and penthouse, like anything. They'll spend money fucking everywhere. And when it comes to like the most important thing, which is like investing in themselves, when it comes to like the number one investment you'll ever make in your life is the woman you marry, or the worst investment you ever make in your life is the woman you marry. It's like, not because she's going to take your assets, because like the currency of life is fulfillment and joy, gentlemen. Like, you guys can, like, this is the thing that blows my mind. And on a side rant for a second, it took me 32 years to recognize that the number one thing, or the number one downer on my happiness, is going to be the women in my life, or the absence thereof. No matter how much money I fucking made, it's like the woman that you have beside you is either going to elevate you, or she's going to shit on you, or she's going to become like an asset that helps you grow and appreciate, or she's going to become somebody that's going to drag you into the shitter. And so when you think about investing into this obscure area, because most men don't even think about making investments into their dating life, how did you process that? And how did you think about that? And what would you impart to the men on the call and the hundreds of guys that are going to watch this?
Well, the way that it went for me was, I was at a point where I was already doing well financially, and I felt shittier than when I was dead broke. Because when I was dead broke, at least I had something to distract me, which was, let's figure out a way to get this money. but my dating life wasn't any better, and my social life wasn't any better. So I think most men are really bad at investing in themselves. Like, it's one thing that honestly women are a lot better at us than this, is that they actually take time, money, and they spend it on themselves, and they treat themselves. But a lot of guys need to realize that the way that you treat yourself isn't with necessarily material goods, that once that initial excitement of you purchasing it goes away, it doesn't really do anything for you. You want to learn things that are evergreen, that can be applied in the specific things that you need help in. Like, that is like, it's like this intangible that has so much value that it's sort of hard to wrap your brain around, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can
No,
tell you now, like, I am not an expert at all in this space, but just from the stuff that I've learned and just through the actions that I made, a few of my own buddies who were sort of in similar situations, were tired of living vicariously through me and started taking action. And it was just very little, fixes
You
that
said
I
you had
noticed.
different girls going in and out for weeks, and get your buddies are like, what the fuck?
My friends are visiting my house and they're like, this is new. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, so I'm just like, no, this thing, and then I said, no, you got to text this way. I just say this. I'm like, I say the same thing. I'm literally showing him my text threads. He's like, bro, you say the same thing to every girl. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. The end result is that they show up, we have a good time. And if they want to come back to my place, they do. And if they don't, whatever, it's not a big deal. So to answer your question, Alan, I think guys need to really focus on the fact that this is, like, maybe you just need to sit down if you're on the fence and just like actually take pen to paper and write down, if this were to work out, what would your life look like and how awesome would that be?
Yeah.
Like, what if it works out? Like, what if it works out? Like, I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you this story because we kind of alluded to this earlier. So I was super nervous about going out. I've never been comfortable in the nightlife scene, and it actually never had anything to do with women. It was actually way even before that point. It's just I didn't feel like welcomed in a nightclub. I didn't know how to have fun, or a bar or anything. I was always very awkward. So what I had to do was just slowly expose myself to the environment. So the first night I went out, I think it was Friday, and I literally just walked around town and I took notes of where all of the places were that had long lines. And then I promised myself that I'd do that for 2 hours, and I walked home. I didn't talk to anybody. And then the second night, I made a promise to myself that I would go earlier and I would just walk in the venues and I would just like scan the venue. That's it. No other expectation. And I ended up actually talking to people in line and making friends, skipping the line because some people were on the registered guest list or whatnot. And I was like, oh, this is not that crazy or scary. So that was a Saturday. And then a week went by. So the third time I went out was Friday night. And that was the night where I did my first cold approach. And it was those two 19-year-olds, and I pulled them home. So.
Oh, that was your first. I forgot about that. Was your first approach?
Yeah, that was my first one. I was like, oh. And look, man, like,
beginner's luck.
It could have been beginner's luck, but
no, I'm kidding. No, there's a system behind it. I'm making a facetious joke because a lot of people think it's luck. It's not luck.
And it's not like every other time I've gone out, like it's been like you miss sometimes. It is what it is. Or sometimes it's shit out of your control. But that was hilarious because I was like, like, why did I make this so scary to me? And then the answer was, well, you just didn't really know what to do. Like, even if you said hi and it went well, like,
what next?
You're just like, fuck, okay, I guess just talk about shit. Because I guess that's the awkward part, is a lot of people don't know how to just have a conversation with somebody that they know nothing about. And then you add the element of you're attracted to them and they're a girl, and you're like, oh, like you start freaking out. But it's actually not that difficult once you have a system underneath you that you can sort of like tune yourself to.
Can you tell like super I think we're a little bit behind on time. Can you tell like a super summarized version of the Anna de Armas lookalike pickup and day game? I love that story.
That's hilarious. So she was my girlfriend for 3 months, but basically I don't know what I was doing the night before. I was just up super late, and I had been pretty much, I do my work at that point I was doing my work in a cafe all the time, and I would just go up to girls and say hi if I liked them. So I would always dress nice when I go out. And I remember this morning I was just exhausted. I wasn't even going to the cafe I normally go to. I was going to a shitty one. And I walk out and I have a mirror in front of the door and I look at what I'm wearing. I'm like, I'm 28 years old. I'm going to leave the house wearing this. Fuck it, whatever. It doesn't matter. Leave the house. And I was like, oh, should I turn around? I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. I'm so tired. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I get there. I swear to God, I open the door to the cafe and I immediately, she's right there. I'm like, God damn it. And then I'm in line. And I'm like,
what would you rate her? Because some guys don't know what that girl looks like. What would you rate her?
Okay, well, to give you context, this chick has like 600K followers on TikTok, 5K following on both YouTube and Instagram. And that's like her full-time job is to look it. Well, I don't want to, she actually does help people online, but she's popular because of the way that she looks. And she
like 9.5.
I would say she's a 9. Yeah, she's super fit as well, and that's all I'm gonna say. But I think she's just sitting and working on her laptop, and I'm just like, oh, you fucking like, and every excuse,
all the voices told you. Yeah,
every excuse in the book. I look like shit. I'm gonna work out. The cafe is busy. She's got her headphones in, and then there was a table available beside her. There was a bunch of tables. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna go sit down. So I sat down, and even though she had headphones in, I eventually just got her attention, and we just started chatting. And then she gave me her Instagram, and I was like, Jesus, okay. I'm like, are you actually going to see this? Like, jokingly, I'm like, how many people message you every day? But then we went out like a few days later, and we dated exclusively for like close to 3 months. It was actually awesome. Like, we went to a few trips together.
And you cut it off.
And I was the one who cut it off. Yeah.
Let's pause on this, Vasal.
Yeah,
you were in a place, reasonably successful guy, terrified of going out, uncertain, couldn't even walk into a nightclub. You had internal levels of anxiety. And I'm sure if you're watching this, gentleman, I'm putting my hand up straight up here and saying I resonate deeply with that. And I'm sure there's many of you guys right now that can resonate in a place where you feel on the inside that life is not working. Fast forward, you're in less than 4 weeks of the program. You see that same feeling of anxiety arise, but yet you still approach, and then you date an Instagram model, and you decide afterwards that you want to cut it off because there's other more suitable partners for you that you want to settle.
I remember in the coaching calls, he's like, I cut off my rotation. I'm kind of missing banging new chicks. Like, I'm like, yeah,
well,
dude,
yeah,
that's
man. It got to a point where if I was honest with myself at that point, I was like, well, do I want to spend time with her or the other people? And I was like, no, I'd rather just spend time with her. And most of that was just like walking around the city and going to cafes and doing like couple shit, but it was actually a lot of fun. It just, it ended for reasons that relationships end. You have certain things you don't see eye to eye, right? Doesn't mean she's a bad person. She's a great person.
And by the way, on that note, just quickly, Vasal, I just wanted, for the people that are like getting off the fence, about 12, 15 of you just come through. So Jacob, Jason, Fahad, Mayank, Sean, congratulations, Christopher, Rowan, Jonas, Dion, Todd, Jason, Jack, all of you guys. I want to congratulate you guys. Like you guys already scheduled your times, already booked your calls, and I promise you, your lives are not going to be the same. Final thoughts, Vasal, for the guys that are watching, and I want to give Craig an opportunity to come in, and I'd like to introduce a couple of new guests, speakers that are going to be your coaches that are going to be working with you guys that are already joining. So, final thoughts, Vasal, from you.
Final thoughts. I have to give just very quick shout out to Jesse, who's one of the coaches in the program. So I did the in-person boot camp as well, and that's Jesse and I actually became good buddies. And in February, I'm going to go stay at his house for a month because I can work from a laptop. And we're just going to go out and tear up Dallas. So,
dude, you're going to have such a great time with Jesse. And by the way, there's a bunch of you guys watching right now that are probably going to, a lot of you that are going to do the 8-week program. And many of you are going to then also secure an opportunity to do in-person coaching, where we're going to actually have guys with like over 500, 800 lay count go out with you in person. And you're going to have an opportunity to speak about how you can bundle these and get a substantially lower price as well, straight on the call. So for those of you which are sitting on the position where you're like, listen, virtual is amazing because I want time with John, but I also want somebody to actually guide me and show me live. We will operate in over 25 countries around the world. And it's going to be an opportunity for you guys wherever you are. We're going to be able to position you in a place where you'll be able to actually get a real coach to step it through with you. And the same application process, Victor, if you can drop the link again. But anyway, final thoughts, Visal, and then we're going to jump off.
Yeah. So a couple of those ladies that were on rotation before I cut them off, I actually hit them back up, and they're back on rotation, you could say. So one of them was that 19-year-old girl from the club. She's really fun and just wants to hang out more. So we see each other from time to time, and then a couple others, but just kind of taking it slow for now because I got to pace myself because February is going to be crazy with Jesse. And for the people who asked about Jesse's program, I'll just let someone else speak, but I'll just message here or Jesse's boot camp rather. I'll just message it right here.
Yeah, so Jesse's just one of our coaches, guys. We have new coaches all around the world. John's tons of coach interviews that we have on the YouTube channel. We will pair you up with the most suitable coach. It might be Jesse because he's more local, but it might be one of our other coaches with equivalent success. We've got another guy called Josh. There's other coaches that you'll work with, but Visal, if the guys have questions, just there's a link in there. You can just direct them to that application and they'll be able to fill it in and we're good to go. Gentlemen, can you give Visal some fire up in the chat? This guy's is so committed to working with men in our network. He's so generous with his time. He's in our orbit. He's constantly dropping valuable advice in the community. If you guys found value in his share, just drop a fire emoji. Just say thank you. He's taken a bit of time out tonight to stop by and just connect with all of you. And so I appreciate you, Visal. Thank you, brother. You've always been such a generous guy with you, and generous in spirit, not only in many ways. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Congrats, by the way.
We've got, for those of you who don't know, Craig, and there's a bunch of you guys sitting on the fence that are like, listen, I wear glasses. I don't necessarily have the greatest. I'm over 30, 40 years old. My fucking lay count's low as shit, or I'm a virgin. And I'm nervous and I'm awkward and I'm not socially cued and I don't fucking know how to do this shit. Craig, very quickly, you began where in your confidence level before the 8-week program?
I would say very low. I would say very, very low and very kind of frustrated before. As I talked about yesterday, guys, when I was on the call with you, 10 years of work and not really getting virtually nowhere, just spinning your wheels with books and courses and things like that. And so I think
and you trusted those people to help you.
Right. I know it's a cliche and it's old, but nothing succeeds like success. And, experience gives you experience. And that's the beautiful thing about, what I said yesterday and what John, you guys are doing here is this really is not just about giving people the tools, the toolkit, if you will, the entire toolkit for Cold Approach, but it's to get them out there and to start doing this. So the answer your question, I'd say it was pretty low. It's pretty low. I mean, no one likes losing, no one likes failing, but it as we talked about yesterday, it's part of the process. But it's sort of like, I think when I spoke at the last approach challenge, I said that it's sort of like you're trying to put a puzzle together, right? And someone takes away the map or the full picture of the puzzle. I feel with John's method and training and texts and scripts, that made it possible for me to kind of see the way to get through this sort of labyrinth or maze called the approach or dating or whatever you want to call it, the online or in person. I guess we would call what the dating market today, wherever you live. And so, I think just getting out there and being successful initially on John's program, it was the second week where I first had my first success, was what really kind of was the momentum, was kind of like a wave I could ride into the beach. And so that's what I want to say to guys here. Don't give up. You guys, it's like I said yesterday, you guys John has the best system, the best tools. There's no fluff, there's no fat. It's all the basics. As the last guy said, you use the scripts, plug and play. And then once you get to a certain point, you can kind of make it your own. You kind of add in things, and take things away. But the basic system's there and it's going to work. I mean, the process is there. It's going to work for you, but you have to get out there and do it, and the problem was that when I was working with these other people it just wasn't working. It was gimmicky. It was gamey. It just flat out didn't work. It was sort of like it's going to see a dietitian or a nutritionist or a personal trainer over years or months, and you're seeing no progress. In fact, you're just staying the same or getting worse. It's not helping, some of these coaches make things worse because they don't have the blood, sweat, and tears, the infield experience that John has conveyed through having done this for 10 to 15 years, So that's really what I would say is the 8-week program is ideal. But if people can't, they just need to at least take what they've learned here and go out and apply it, and get on that. I think it's the VIP call or the VIP chat group, because that stuff is going to be invaluable. That was valuable to me when I went through the program, because you don't realize it, but sometimes you're making mistakes and you don't realize it, because as the last guy said, there's no real instruction book on how to do this until John kind of optimized this system. It was all kind of hit or miss, and so I would just say, you just need to get out there, and if people are on the fence, this is the real deal. This is not RSD. This is not some BS method. It's going to work. It's basically, the path is there for you. You just have to do it. You have to start, and you have to start. That's the hardest part, is getting out there and doing it.
Craig, we love you, bro.
No, it's just true. You don't have to love me, man. I'm telling the 100% truth. God is honest truth here.
I still remember when
John always says, I'm not here. None of us are here being paid to be here. None of us, we're here because we want to support someone who is the best in this space and is helping people, because there's so much bullshit out there that's not helping people. And I can tell you from a personal experience, as everyone on this call knows, a decade of my life has been wasted because of scam artists, idiots.
And a lot of guys give up during that period. I get so many emails. Guys give up on girls. They blame themselves. And it makes them miserable. It eats them away. Like, imagine if you hadn't found my stuff and you're like, well, I tried 10 years, fuck this. And you just tried to get absorbed in your work, or you tried to just get a new hobby, or there's like this there's this big void, and it eats you away. And I've seen it happen to so many guys. And that's why I get so passionate when I attack these other coaches on YouTube, because I'm like, you need to know what this guy is doing to you and what he's doing to your life while pretending to be your friend and helping you.
Right. And, you look at MGTOW, total bullshit. You look at the black pill, I think that's actually MGTOW. And then the red pill people that want you to hate women, and you go down that rabbit hole, and it's just, it's a very, very toxic place to be. And it's, it doesn't, to go to your point, that's definitely going to destroy your confidence, because you're going to end up hating women, and you're not going to take any action, or at least not correct and recognizable action that's going to get you to where you need to be.
Here's a final question for you, Craig. I'm a guy. I'm watching this. One of the 300, 400, 500 people are going to see this, and they're going to be thinking, I don't know where I'm at financially right now. I don't know if I can afford this. I don't know if this is for me. I really don't know if this is the right time. You're 42 now.
44. 44 and I work
44.
42 when he came here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, like, there's a bunch of guys, and I get these messages. I'm like, I don't know if this is the right time financially. I don't know. Like what do you say to men that are on the call that are sitting on that fence post? They're like, I don't know if this is now. Like, just honestly, from your perspective, like, what would you share with them as some wisdom and insight?
One of the things that John is really great about, he did this with me, is you can do a payment plan. I don't know what the deal is you guys have, but I think he's always been very fair. John is very fair. You guys are very fair about the payment. I think that if your budget is tight, budget for it and get on a payment plan and sign up for it. Because if you wait, the problem is, as the last guy said, we as men need to invest in ourselves. We as men need to, and I think that if you are on the fence about this, you just need to get on some type of payment plan if you guys can do that, because this is going to work. I understand why people are skeptical. Completely understand why people are skeptical. You look at the natural lifestyles, 15,000 worthless coaching. You look at RSD, but this is going to work. I know people might think, oh, well, maybe this is just another kind of get rich scheme by John and Alan. It's not the case. They're truly invested in this. And so I would just say, look, plan out your budget if you're on the fence and the money is tight, and see if you can get some type of payment plan to get moving on this, because this is going to change your life. This is going to, it's going to basically put you where you want to be with the people, the ladies you want to be in your life. And so, I would make it happen. One of the things that, you learn is, one of the things I've learned is I could just have had this 10 years ago, it would have been great for me, but that's not the biggest people in the space. The biggest people in the space are the marketers and the bullshit gurus. But the short answer is, I would find a way to make it work, make the money work, because it was worth every penny, guys.
I remember, like, yesterday. So Craig's another, as I said, I become friends with a lot of my clients. Craig and I actually became good friends after we trained together. And I remember when you sent me the text, hey, I just had a threesome. Never thought I never, I don't remember the exact words, but never thought that would ever happen. Or just banged your first stunner. Never thought that would happen. Or the different crazy fetish shit you get involved in. That you're basically living out. You're basically living out your wildest fantasies that you thought were just stuff you could watch.
Yeah,
in porn.
and stripper game. I mean, it's just that's more advanced stuff, as you know, but it's something out there. So,
Greg, thank you.
Of course,
guys. We're gonna just share something very special with you guys right now. There's a bunch of you. Thank you, Craig. There's a bunch of you guys that are on this right now. We're going to be sharing something with you in a second that is going to be utterly game changing, and I'm going to let John walk you through this, because there are some things in here that is only going to be applied for the first 15 guys or thereabouts. So John, I'm going to get you to just step these guys through it if you can now. So just jump in there and let's just share it, because it's getting late. And I think this is going to be something truly special and different that it's going to make a difference for a lot of the men on this call. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and off you go.
Okay. So are we, do you want to jump to the part where we're introducing Kristen?
Just step the guys through the next, the next.
Okay. So let me share my screen here. 1 second. It's not popping up okay.
Oh, and by the way, quick congratulations to Sean. God, I can't say, I don't know. Humberto, well done. Congratulations. Dylan, well done, fellas. So congratulations to all of you guys. So John, let's step through the next step.
Okay. So yeah, you guys can, my team again, will want one more time. We're dropping the links for your application and for your free call to go over the details of all this stuff in Telegram and Zoom and Facebook. Okay, so look out for those, or you can just key it in here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so who here thinks their looks, fashion, or the image of who they are is holding them back from approaching and attracting hot girls? Let me know in the chat. Your looks, your fashion, or how you see yourself, okay, aesthetically, physically, etc. Who thinks that that's holding you back? Okay, Damien, Craig, Weeble. Craig actually accidentally posted actually, we blew it up for him, but he put a picture of himself. I can remember that, Craig. His looks hold him back. Okay. Who here believes if they had better pictures for their dating profile on Instagram, they would be more confident and have more success with women? Let me know in the chat. Okay, Rez. Richard, pictures definitely. Okay. What if it was possible to upgrade your looks and transform yourself to look like a male model in less than 7 days? I know that sounds too good to be true. We've been doing this on a regular basis via Kristen, who is our GQ stylist on board. And this will allow you to help you get more matches to date hotter girls, okay, and get the confidence to attract hotter girls. Okay, so without further ado, please meet Kristen Blake. She is a GQ fashion stylist for men, an image transformation specialist for my company, and an award-winning image concierge and fashion stylist. And she's worked with lots of up-and-coming designers and models in big cities, and specializes in helping men transform their looks, fashion, and wardrobe. Okay, and within a budget too. Okay, she can help you recombine your stuff. She's going to go over that now with you guys.
Well, I'd love you to, Kristen, first and foremost, pin me. If you can pin me, guys, that would be great. Kristen, it's so good to see you. Look at that red hair. Look at that red hair. So, you know,
redheads. We're a lot.
I love it. I love it. Hey, so, you know, it's been a really interesting ride having you with us on our team, and you've had an opportunity to really connect with men that have come through our 8-week experience. And you and I, when we first met, you and I really kicked off a conversation around the importance of aesthetics and the role they can play in attraction. So why don't we do this? Why don't you just spend 30, 40 seconds to share with the guys, because you're now closely working with all the men that come through our ecosystem. Tell them a little bit about you and who you work with and the kind of transformations that you've done.
Sure. So, I mean, I work with men all over the country, all over the world, all kinds of budgets, all types of industries. Truly, your image introduces you before you can even say a word. We see you across the bar, we see you walking down the street, like we already have this opinion and it's already communicated before you even say hello. So before you can utilize anything that John and the other coaches are teaching you, you've already set the stage. So let us help you set that stage before you start utilizing all of the tools that John has for you. Because if you're not presenting it correctly, and here's the caveat that I want to make sure everyone understands. We love a geek. We love an athlete. We love a scientist. We love a bookworm. We love, an entrepreneurial. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It also doesn't matter how much money you make. I know everyone thinks that it does. It does not. What matters, is it authentic? Is it really who you are? And can you sustain it as we continue this relationship, whatever it may be? Whether it's a one-night stand, whether it's a casual thing, whether it's your forever person, can you sustain it? Are you who you say you really are? That is what matters to women. Can you back it up? And it doesn't matter what the rest of it is, whatever your bank account is or whatever your job is. Are you certain about who you are? And are what you're saying to me, is that really who you are? And can you back it up? Can you back it up when we're grabbing coffee? Can you back it up when we go out? Can you back it up? Is this really you? That's what we're looking for. We can smell the bullshit. And to be fair, we're okay stepping in it from time to time. But we are going to want someone who's really who they say they are. If you're a geek, that's cool. You are. Don't try to be something you're not.
I've told guys that, for two straight days, I've been telling them that women are very perceptive and they pick up very quickly if the guy is presenting himself differently than who he really is.
Right.
So it's about owning what you bring to the table, guys, and girls will appreciate that you're interacting authentically because most guys can't.
Yeah. And
one of the things, Kristen, that we spoke about, and is this idea that, and you I don't remember the words that you used, but if you're going to be starting your morning, or you're going to be going out on a date, or you're going to be having your your photos up on Tinder, like, help the guys understand the impact from a female's perspective of your first impression, and from a female's perspective, because you and I have been talking about you being on the apps, you've been, you date all sorts of different guys, very successful guys, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, give the guys a perspective and the impact of that first impression at the bar, in their gym, like everything. Just like, what's your experience of that?
So really what we're looking for is, what is it going to be like to spend time with you? When we have that date, when we have that drink, when we go bowling, golfing, I don't care what it is. So make your profile pictures interesting. Don't be afraid to use a prop that shows who you are, things that you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be just this professional headshot. You could be reading a book, you could be playing pool, you could be playing golf. Show me what it's like to spend time with you, because that's really what's going to hook me. Not only is it going to hook me, it's going to keep me there, it's going to keep me interested, and it's going to keep you willing to engage when you, I don't know, if you come through town or if we're continuing a relationship. I mean, at this point, men in life, there are certain men and they have laid that groundwork and we have that relationship and it's authentic. So when you happen to roll through town, you're geographically accessible. I'm like, oh, I know what that looks like. I know what time with that man feels like. And I'm willing to give up the 24 hours I'm given every day. I'm willing to give up X amount of it to spend time with that person.
But how does fashion and image play a role in that?
Are you comfortable? Does this feel like you? Because if someone's not comfortable, I don't know if you've ever noticed a photograph or a red carpet or someone across a room and they're like, they don't like what they have on. I mean, they are just itching to take it off. It's too hot, it's too tight, they don't like the fabric, and that is communicating insecurity to me. As a woman, I'm attracted to confidence, always. Like, we want a man that walks in the room and we're like, oh, don't know his story, but I want to. And he's confident and he's sure about everything that he's doing. He's very intentional. And I think that will always turn a woman's head.
Okay, so here's one of the interesting things, right? So John, and I know you can speak into this a little bit, is we've got men right now that will paste up onto their online bios photos of them fishing, photos of them with, subpar clothing. And in a really competitive marketplace of online or a club, when you walk in, there is a very big distinction and difference when a man walks in with a sense of power and his own image, not necessarily a suit and fucking all that shit, but his unique, specific, authentic expression done to the greatest possible level for his individual style, both expressed online and then both expressed when you walk into a bar and a club. And the biggest obstacle, gents, that a lot of men face is we are fucking clueless when it comes to understanding what the fuck we should be wearing. And we suck at being able to pick shit out. And I know this for a fact because I fucking suck at it, because Kristen does all of my purchasing. She sends me boxes of shit. She's like, just wear this. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing fucking ever. She's like, you should probably stop wearing that white linen shirt, Alan. I'm gonna get you some proper. This is my favorite white linen shirt for this event.
I know you
But
love it.
with the exception of my white linen shirt, she's done my entire wardrobe. John, you spent thousands of dollars on having a stylist take out your entire wardrobe and help you pick the right clothing. So Kristen, guys suck at this, right? That would be a fair assumption. So how do you walk men through, and what do you do with the guys in our program to help them really maximize their confidence, their authentic expression, and then ultimately select the best potential clothing for them? Walk the guys through that process and what you do.
I think what's important is we've got to start with where we are. Like, we all have these goals, right? Of where we want to be, professionally, financially, physically. We have all of these goals, but we have to start where we are. It's the only way to actually make progress. So sure. Oh, when I lose 25 pounds. Okay. When is that going to happen? So we have to dress the body we have. We have to address the budget that we have. We've got to start somewhere and begin to build from where we're at. So that is my biggest thing, is don't wait for that perfect day. It's never coming. That perfect financial situation, that perfect weight, it's not coming. And then you're going to lose 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So start from where you're at. Be very intentional about where you want to go. And everyone on the team can help you get there. But we have to start where we're at. Like, that is my number one thing. You also have to be willing to engage in the process. So for example, if I'm sending you links and I'm building out boards and you're unwilling to hit that buy button, how do I help you? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, invest in the wardrobe, trust the professionals, and at least give it a shot. We're always open for a conversation. If you're not feeling a color or a fabric, let's talk about it. But if you're not willing to actually purchase the clothes, do the photo shoots, put the work in, how do we help you?
What you guys need to appreciate, and one of the reasons we brought Kristen in, is that not only does she work with a ton of GQ, ARIA Award people, etc., but we've tried to take all of her expertise for the last 2 decades that she's had in styling men and bring it into a framework that can be leveraged for you, all of you, to be able to create the best kind of image that's possible, so that you can attract the kind of girl that you truly want. There is a certain type of woman that you are all chasing, and that your first impression with that particular type of woman matters.
Yeah.
So if you're rolling in a beater, you're going to attract a certain kind of woman. If you're rolling out in your particular kind of fashion is baggy and it's oversized, and you look like you fucking still wearing shit that's like 7 years old, and then you rock up to a venue and you're holding your beer by your side, and then your level of certainty and confidence is impacted. And we've seen this time and time again, but this is most pronounced, especially with online profiles. If you look at the marketplace right now, you're being judged on your online profile based upon the quality of the photos that you have, the ordering of those photos, and the way that you look in each of those photos. So what we have been finding over the last several years in working with men, and John specifically, and me in the last 15 months and collaborating here, is that there is a very deliberate process that gets put in place, which ensures that you get your fashion handled before your photography, so that your photography and your photos then come out in a specific way, maximizing your authentic expression not because you think it's what's good, but we pair you with somebody that's done this for celebrities and stylists so that your photos come out, putting you instantaneously in the top 1% of profiles. And Kristen's specialty is to be able to do this in two ways. And we're going to walk you guys through how this entire process works in a second. But she's going to customize your fashion specifically for you, your photo, so that your clothing is for you, your authentic expression, your particular style, your particular type of clothing, and within your budget. And so, Kristen, I'm going to just briefly, John, get you to just quickly step the guys through exactly what it is that they actually will be getting and working with Kristen here, because this is something that's specific to this challenge, and we're going to explain to you exactly why.
Great.
John, muted on your side, just so you know.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Kristen, feel free to jump in to explain these items as I go through here. But what we're including, guys, for just people on this call, right? Normally, anybody that signs up for Kristen's services as an add-on or Jay's fitness services has to pay a bunch extra, thousands extra, okay? Here, at no extra cost for the first 15 people who apply for these calls, they will get a complete image transformation. You will talk to Kristen one-on-one. You will also get a customized. I'll let you speak to these, Kristen, if you'd like, because you actually run this. So
sure. So what we're looking to do is build out, I mean, obviously the 6 outfits is what we're shooting for, but I try to build a very, very cohesive and transitional wardrobe. What we never want to see is you getting that text message and looking down and going, oh, fuck, I can't go meet this person for a drink or dinner because this is what I look like. So I want to make sure that it is sustainable. It's something that you can tweak very, very easily. So yes, it will be 6 complete looks, but it's really going to expand into much more than that. We can kind of address your current wardrobe, your hairstyle, your skincare, face, all of that. Understand colors, understand fabrics, and how they kind of communicate and transition as you move through seasons, events, etc.
So on top of that, there's also another element here, which is once the guys, so for all of you that are wondering, here's how this actually looks in practical terms. You jump on a 30-minute call. First of all, you're going to walk through to see if this is going to be a fit for you, because there's going to be different options and different particular pathways for each of you. Some of you may just go straight to our direct coaching with a real coach live in person. But let's say that you decided you wanted to get the full system, right? You're like, this is for me. Okay, cool. Ordinarily, what's going to happen is you'll get enrolled, and then you'll be set up a time with Kristen, and Kristen's going to step you through on a one-on-one call where she's going to take your sizing, your dimensions, the body shape, all the things that you're currently wearing in your current wardrobe, and she's going to create a board, which is a digital board for each and every one of you. And John, can you move those images, all the faces? It's right in the middle of your screen right now. Okay. So if you want to move that somewhere else to a different monitor. Yep. And then with that digital board, you guys are going to have all of the individual outfits that she's going to handpick for you, partially some of your existing items, then some new items with links. Each of those links will allow you to go for your specific body shape, buy exactly what it is that you need directly from that one link online, and you'll be able to then get it delivered to your home. So you guys won't have to spend countless hours shopping. John, I can still see that face. You won't have to spend time going to Macy's. You won't have to spend time or going to all these other online stores. Kristen literally does all the work for you. And inside of that, you're going to get 6 custom outfits, what shoes to pair with what pants, with what exact jacket, depending on your climate. You know, I'm in Florida, so it's like warm for fucking 363 days a year. So for me, it's one thing. If you're in New York, you'll get some summertime and you get some wintertime. She pairs it all up for you in a board. Then from there, you buy it and you have everything delivered to your home, right? Ordinarily, if you want to go with Kristen, you want to do this right now, you guys can go separately, pay for this. If you're already in our membership, it's going to cost you another $1,500. We're giving the challenge members, and it's not everybody, simply because we're forking out the cost of this. You guys, for the first 15 of you that end up applying and booking your call and enrolling, you guys will be comped this. This is a complimentary gift for all of you guys. So this is us covering the cost. It's a bonus. Kristen's also going to then spend time with you for 8 weeks. If you have any fashion questions on a Friday for 1 hour, you guys will have a call with her and you can ask her questions on an upcoming date. Should I wear this? Should I wear this? What about this? This didn't quite work. before your photo shoot, if you have any specific questions, Kristen will be there on that weekly call to guide you guys through any of that.
Right.
So anything else that you want to add to that, Kristen?
Just to add, so let's say hypothetically you've got a great jacket in your wardrobe and you love it and it happens to fit you great, but you don't really know how to put it together. We can work with existing items within your wardrobe. I don't want you to feel like it is completely, we're going to go out and buy an entirely new wardrobe. It can be a combination of the two. You may be 85% of the way there on a look, but I'm just going to show you if we do this, if we do that. Or if you've got a great pair of jeans and it fits you okay, but if we kind of take it in from that knee down, like we can really, really hone in on the things that you have and the reasons why they're not working, why they don't fit you perfectly. And I can help facilitate all of that with a tailor in your local area, make sure that everything's fitting properly.
And pause on that. I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
No,
There's some of you guys have got this pretty much dialed in, kind of, or some of you want a tight budget, and you're sitting here and you're watching this, and I know what you're fucking thinking, right? Because we speak to men every day. You're like, so there's the program, and there's the fashion. If you guys enroll into the program, you're like, listen, I am so tight on budget. Kristen is not going to send you Louis Vuitton links and other BS, because she is the reason we picked her specifically. And when I say I went fucking religiously looking for people in the United States, I spent so many fucking hours on this, interviewing people. I'm sick to death. I do not ever want to engage in this process again. It was a mind-numbing head fuck for me. The reason that we picked her was because she had one philosophy that I deeply fucking agree with, which is very simply this. She doesn't pick what's branded. She picks what is cost effective and that is going to fit your body. Right. And the biggest thing for me is not to have you guys walking around with delusional fucking Versace labels on your bodies, but instead to express yourselves the most effective way that you can, so that you can do it within your budget and you can do it now. The one thing that John and I are committed to is speed, right? We want to get it done. And Kristen and I have been working on dialing in speed as well, so that we've been able to get the boards electronically fitted. There's a few system tweaks that we're making to get this really rolling through very quickly now. So this is going to be able to be done efficiently, quickly, and it's going to get you guys things within your budget. So Kristen, just quickly touch on the point of the fact that it's not brands that you're chasing, and how do you approach this?
Because here's what's important to understand. The human eye and the way that we process information is symmetry. So I hear things from people say, oh, I really like the way this looks or this looks, and they'll name a celebrity. And I'll pull up the image and the guy's wearing a fucking white t-shirt and jeans. This is not breaking the bank stylistically. This is not incredibly exciting. But when I look at it, I'm like, ooh, the reason why is it fits right. It's not about how much he spent on it. It's not about whether it's branded. No one cares. Truly, no one cares. I mean, you can sit up at the bar and kick your sneakers up and I can see the red button. I don't care if it's Louboutin. I really don't. But if you can't walk in it because it's not comfortable and you don't like it, that just communicated a lot to me. I don't care if you spent $1,500 on your sneakers. Don't do it. So it's about the right item at the right price. Now, if it happens to be an expensive item, that's up to you. You always set the budget. So I think that's important. When you tell me, when we meet initially, I'm going to ask you, have you thought about budget? How much are you willing to invest in yourself? Because that is going to determine the recommendations that I make. And I will give you more than one recommendation. It will be, here's kind of a medium, here's a higher end, here's a budget end. We can address any budget. But again, I need to know what that is. So be thinking about that before your initial meeting with me, and then we'll just go from there.
So gents, here's the process. You guys enroll, you do your 30-minute call. We're going to step you through this. I'm going to be totally transparent. There can be some of you guys that won't, in the beginning of this phase, necessarily qualify for our program. We're going to set you up with something different, like our live training event. So there's a more suitable thing. Whatever it is, you guys will have that 30-minute call to specifically go through exactly what is going to fit and suit your objectives, right? Our commitment is that you guys find the woman that you want to be with. So whatever pathway that's going to be. Now, there's going to be a lot of you that are going to be working with us in the game of getting your entire dating life optimized. In that process, you will get started. You will put down your you'll enroll, and then once that's done, you're going to be given a form. Kristen's going to get your body shape, dimensions, and book a call link, which is going to then enable you to actually jump on a one-on-one call. You'll work with her on exactly what you need, your current wardrobe and everything else. She'll then manage to create a digital board for you with the items that you need to complement. You'll order those in. And then from there, we're going to move into your photo shoot. And then John's team of hot girls are going to rate your photos. John's going to write your bio for you. And after he's written your bio, your online game is handled. Your fashion is now ready for day game and night game. Kristen will sort you out for both what to wear on dates, what to wear during the day, what to wear in different environments, and she'll give you options. Some of you, and there's many of you that are going to eventually watch this, you guys are going to want to go all in. Great. Some of you are going to be like, just give me the bare basics. I just want the basics handled so I feel comfortable. The one thing that we are chasing more than anything else is that you as men, at the end of this process, have the external appearance of a man that is put together. Why is that important? Because how you look and how you walk into a room conveys instantaneously, within less than a couple of seconds, the women that will consider fucking you. Equally, when you walk on a date, there's going to be, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, we know, I mean, within less than 60 seconds. I mean.
And I can't tell you how many times I've seen this.
Not to say that we won't make you wait, because some of us will, but we knew within 60 seconds.
20% of the time, roughly, they'll make you wait.
I mean, you know, you hear that.
Just it just depends. It just depends on the system that you use.
Right.
So are you guys seeing in the chat for me? Are you guys seeing the value of this? And we're literally creating an opportunity for you guys to be able to completely handle this fashion game and self-confidence game. Completely just get this dialed in for you. In the chat, can you guys drop for me if you have any questions, and if you're seeing the value of this? Say yes. I say yes. Fire emojis. I don't give a fuck. We'll just drop fashion in there. Okay. Yep.
Well, and
Adrian, heck yeah. Damien, extraordinary value.
Before and afters. This is still the same guy. Same guy. What did we do? We changed the fit. We changed kind of the body position. We coached him through how to pose. This is the same guy. These are not huge. Let me change everything about you. And so now you feel like a complete stranger in your own skin. No, these are not huge changes. It's fit, it's style, it's positioning, it's lighting, and it's confidence.
And then it's the keys for you guys being able to blow up your online game, and then your cold approach becomes completely different because your self-esteem goes up, et cetera, et cetera. You guys have any questions for Kristen before we wrap up? Kristen, you are a fashion point guard. Do you have any before and afters of men in worse shape than these guys?
Yeah.
Rez, I'm going to tell you, when I'd work with Kristen initially, and she's pretty tight with her privacy, and so she doesn't reveal faces. But let me tell you, the guys that she's worked with, my friend, if you think that there's anything she hasn't seen.
To be fair, they all make me sign a non-disclosure. So it's a combination of the two.
One more thing for all of you wondering, guess what she's also going to do for you? She's going to give you advice on your grooming, your hairstyle. She's also going to talk to you about exactly what you need to do. So Dylan said, I need to fix up my beard. I probably don't disagree, but I like my beard. So you all go fuck yourselves.
Okay, but to be fair, just a little side note on that. It can be as simple as a beard butter. Adding a little bit of a sheen to it, making sure the hair on your face is being conditioned as well as the hair on your head. Everybody forgets about the hair on their face. They shampoo, they condition, they do all the things. We got to take care of it here too. So
I use soap and water. I refuse. But yes, that is true. Dylan said
we'll talk later.
Just some beard butter. Yeah, I know. I'm going to
a little beard butter. Yeah.
Do you do fashion in hot places? Dude, let me just tell you something. I told Kristen to send me an only exclusive summer wardrobe, and she still sent me the most amazing outfits that are just as good for summer as they are for winter. So she found a hybrid mix for me in Florida, which was perfect. And if there is no pants, just shorts. Yes, dude, I will wear plenty of shorts, but when you're going on dates,
I am going to take a tiny little thing on short. No one loves a short after 5, guys. Please,
yeah, that is true.
Please
or
don't
on a date.
5. I mean, unless you're out on a boat or at the marina. Let's not do shorts after 5, guys.
Okay. Well,
we don't love it.
Right.
It's never going to turn our head. Now, if you're a guy that we're already into, we'll let it go. But I mean, let's fix it after 5.
That's the key.
I just want to congratulate a bunch of you guys. A whole fucking Jesus Christ. A whole lot of Just lost the file. Ben, just drop me the link again. I just want to quickly shout out a couple of the guys that have.
Yeah, Eric. No,
There's a whole bunch of guys have just registered to try and take advantage of this. Guys, I've been hitting up with a few DMs. Some of you are saying the slots are getting booked. Ben, just double check that our calendar availability is okay still. I know that we're going to be pushing out mid to late next week already on this call. So just make sure that we look after as many of these guys. Kristen, we're super grateful for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for like taking care of the men in our orbit. Guys, Kristen is a female touch point for you. She'll become a close confidant and you guys can speak with her during your consult. She loves nothing more than actually being a female voice in your lives. There's a lot of men that run this program, but Kristen is the woman that's in here, and she's the token female in our team. And she has. There's nothing that you cannot say to her.
We've got a couple female assistants as well, and clients sometimes send them. Sometimes
Kristen is the front facing. All of the women that are going to rate your photos.
Yeah, the women.
You know what we should create, John? We should create an opportunity for 5 women that all the girls that rate the photos to come online and meet with some of these guys as a separate add-on to speak to them about.
This is where we should enlist, because I realize we're all hitting a little high. This is where I should bring in my top fashion models as a secret panel, my runway models, see what they think.
I would be down. You know, it would be really cool.
Girls are paying 10, 20 grand to walk down a runway.
Well, you know what?
Can't
Kristen,
divulge necessarily who they are, but we could get
You know what? Can we get a couple of these models on a call, and then we can just run a separate discussion panel on a maybe like a YouTube live with some really hot 9s and 10s that are models about what they like and don't like about in the dating game. That would be phenomenal.
I mean, if any of you have kind of seen those Guess ads, I mean, they've been blowing up since the 90s, hottest girls ever. A couple of the Marciano models are local here to Nashville. I'm sure we can get them to give their opinions on how things are shaping out.
I love it. Guys, thank Kristen. Kristen, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. You guys have a good rest of your call. Look forward to meeting you all soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, gentlemen. There's a link in the chat. You guys know what to do. At this point in the game, we are covering this. So it's like the one thing that I get beaten up on by John is the fact that we kill our own fucking business margins by adding in too much value and we pay for shit. And I'm like, the value of this in the long run is better if we cover it, because there's some of you guys that otherwise would be out of pocket for this exact experience. So this is our gift, and it's a gift because you guys have spent days with us. And for those of you watching the replays, this still equally applies to you. Get on the application. John, we got one more guest coming in. So I'm going to let you just continue rolling through this, and then we'll.
My good buddy, Jay Vincent. Okay, cool. So as a bonus number 2, we're going to give you the dating profile maximizer. So this will pair you with professional high quality photographer through Snapper. We'll have the team of girls pick the best pictures, and we'll apply aesthetic upgrades. And I'll personally write your bio. I write it for every single client. And then literally you just put up the pictures we selected with the bio that I wrote and watch the matches come pouring in. Okay. So again, we're including this for free for guys that sign up for a call right now as well for the first 15. Okay. So get your applications in. The link has just been dropped again in the Zoom. We'll have it again in the Facebook group. And where else are we? Some other.
Yep, you're good, man. We've got all the links out. Let's keep rolling.
Telegram. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so look, style, and dating profile sorted. Who here is struggling with health and fitness? Let me know in the chat. Just say me. I was skinny most of my life. I was like 155, 160 pounds at 6'4" in college, 70 kilograms. That's changed. I used to see gym workouts as a cock block to dates, but now I realize the value of it. Okay. Who here believes that they looked a bit more healthier, ripped, and had a better body if it would help them approach, date hotter girls, get more matches on Tinder? Okay. Who here believes that? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Cool. What if it was possible to get the body you wanted by working out less than 30 minutes? I know this sounds like this isn't one of those too good to be true things, right? Jay has a scientific optimized system, just like I did with dating. He did the same thing in the fitness space, and he's going to talk about how it works and show results that he's gotten. Okay. And you don't need to do any cardio, and I'll explain why. Okay. So you can get the body you've always wanted with less time and less effort a lot quicker. Okay. So without further ado, meet Jay Vincent. Can we get Jay pinned up on the spotlight in here? There's his, how do you think that photo would do on Tinder? Is
That's
Jay
not a
here?
bad pick. Yeah, Jay's with us. Jay, let's get you pinned. Turn your camera on, bro.
Can we spotlight Jay?
We can. We're just gonna find him. Where you at, bro? Jay's like, technology, technology, technology. We got him coming in somewhere. Well, you know what? While we're finding him in the Zoom, why don't you just walk him through? Why don't you walk the guys through a little bit about Jay?
Okay. So I actually met Jay a couple years back at the 21 convention. He had this machine that had like German engineering behind it. And it was basically just applying force and resistance. And you like try to push it as hard as you can. And there's resistance being applied. And it was all systematic. And it was like I went through it and I was like, holy shit, like this worked in my body like an incredible amount. He's like, yeah, I instruct my clients to do something similar in the gym using weights. People really need to just be going into failure. It's all about time under tension and pushing the muscle past what it's able to do. So his system actually, I'll let him get into the details. There he is. Yeah, why don't we just let him take it away from there? So,
well, let's just Jay, let's quickly go through your bio. So let's click a few
too,
more buttons. Open these up. So Jay, why don't you talk a little bit about this? Let me have you talk about this.
Yeah, but he's a famous fitness model, published author, speaker, and gym owner. Go ahead, Jay. Welcome.
What's up, guys? Yeah, so as it says there, the first bullet there, fitness model. So this kind of all started, my whole approach to exercise started when I was about 24 years old and I wanted to become a fitness model. Believe it or not, kind of fits this whole breakthrough challenge. I wanted to piss off an ex-girlfriend, and I successfully did it. I figured, hey, if I get in all the magazines, well, it's kind of a good revenge. So I set out to be a fitness model.